Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We are going to get going here in about 2 minutes. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to another Forex Weekly Ritual. I am your host for today's session, Benny Allen, along with my partner, who should be joining us here shortly, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we are flat out excited to be here with you for this week's Forex Ritual. If everybody could, as always, drop me a 1 in the chat to make sure that we are good with the sound, that we're not having any technical issues this morning, so we can get rocking and rolling and going through these charts and looking at some trades that are already in progress, and then look at what's out there for next week. So I appreciate everybody doing that for me. So as always, let's make sure that we are ready to go, meaning turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, take lots and lots of notes, especially for these rituals, and let's make sure that we participate and engage today. Just a quick disclaimer, trading the Forex market is risky. Never risk money that you cannot afford to lose. I am not a CTA, which stands for Commodities Trading Advisor, meaning that everything that we go over today is for educational purposes only. So we can show you the technicals, we can show you how we look at the fundamentals, we can show you our strategies, but at the end of the day, it is 100% up to you to be in control of your own account. All right, so give me some feedback out there. How was everybody's week coming into September? Even if you're still in demo, if you're still trying to figure it out, let me know how everybody's doing so far in the month of September. You can put it in the chat or take your microphone off mute. But somebody talk to me out there this morning.
Good morning, Uncle Benny.
Good morning. Good morning.
my patience is getting better. I'm getting better at my patience. And I'm learning that I don't like to play every pair. I'm learning the pairs that I like to play.
Yep. So. Awesome. You have some pairs that you like to play. Which is there any particular one that you like the most?
I like GBP pairs. I tell you, I don't like CAD. I do not like CAD.
Yeah, the CAD.
For me. It's too much for me.
Yeah, the CAD can drive you crazy, man. The commodity currencies can really drive you up a wall, right?
I'm young. I still want the hair on my head, so I can't be messing with no CAD.
Gotcha. I hear you.
When you going through, can you mark up a chart and go over the X like you did last night?
Yeah, like I did last time. Yeah,
like you did Thursday. I like the X, so but yeah, I appreciate y'all. I'm learning a lot.
Awesome. Thanks for the feedback. I appreciate it. Yeah, we could definitely go over that today. Yep, for sure. And then with your patience, I'm also too, because we've been going, from the doing our top-down analysis for quite some time now, getting the reps in. So I'm also going to show you guys some setups on the 5-minute chart as well, because the group is growing. I know we've got a lot of people who may like to trade intraday, be in and out of trade. So I'm gonna show you guys exactly how you can play that, because there's times where I get in my mood where that's what I want to do, right?
Right.
So so I definitely think it's some opportunity for us to take a look at a few of those type of setups.
I also think I'm better now at looking at key levels of support resistance. Like you say, you got to zoom all the way out, and I do that more often to look at, okay, well, maybe price is going back up here to retest it, and look at the reaction. And yeah, I think I'm better at looking at what's going on, looking at price action now instead of just jumping into something. So it's working out. Friday yesterday was good. We had that U-turn with GBP and the chef. It was good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Was some good stuff out there this week. So, and then some of it kind of was dragging along for quite some time. We know that we had the big run like the week before was crazy with some of the commodity pairs just kept running, the Aussie and then the New Zealand, but they tend to settle down and get right back in that technical pattern this week. So
your USD finally fell off a cliff like we thought it was. It just took some time.
It did, didn't it? It did. That's why we say, look, trade when you're doing those larger swings, like trade small and then scale into it once it starts going in your direction, because we may know technically where we believe it may go or what it's setting up to do, but as far as how long it's going to take to do it, it's totally up to the market. We definitely don't control the market. We don't even pretend to act like we have total control over it. So
I got a new T-shirt idea. We get paid to wait. There you go.
That's it.
Let's do it.
With that being said, let's get ready to rock and roll. Welcome to everybody who this may be their first time here. I see some people drop that in the chat. So welcome to the Forex Weekly Ritual, where we go through pretty much, sometimes we slow down a little bit because there's a lot of questions, but our goal is to get through all if not if most of the pairs, right? To try to see what we're looking at, what the forecast is for the week, and some setups that we may be able to look at participating in right out the gate, right? So preparation is key, right? Got to be prepared. So let's rock and roll. Ryan, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right, so let's do the deal. One of the things that we always take a look at is investing.com and the technical summary. So if you all haven't done it, it's a pretty cool idea. If you want to just sign up for like a free account, right? So that you can kind of save some of your stuff. So these are the overall technical summaries. And the way I set it up is from the weekly, daily, 1 hour and 15 minute, just like I set up my charts, right? In Smart Trader or Trading View if you're using that. And you can customize these by hitting the customize button. And then you can put in up to 18 pairs in there. So you can see I've got all the pounds and the euros and the Aussie starting out. And then you can just hit apply, and then it'll give you a rundown. It'll give you a rundown of the overall technical view of what's going on with these pairs. Okay, so if we scroll down to the Aussies, which is where we're going to start today, and you look at that Aussie CAD, you can see that overall from a weekly perspective, right? So if you see my columns, weekly, daily, 1 hour, 15 minutes, and then you have the pair. So if you look at the Aussie, okay, you can see that it's neutral off the weekly, and then it's strong buys for the daily, 1 hour, and the 15 minutes. So then it's always a matter with our Fibonacci framework is that, okay, if we're long, are we in a up retracement zone, right? That B to C and price is pulling back, okay? Or are we in a C to D push zone, right? Where price has pulled back, has made the correction, is giving back a certain percentage, of the direction that it moved initially, and now it's ready to push from that C to D. So it's a really simple framework once you get it, because it's only, hey, the market moves up, down, and sideways. Okay, so it's just a matter of where it's at. So we know for this Aussie CAD that most time frames we are bullish, but it's a matter of whether or not we are in a retracement zone or a push zone. Okay, so some things that you can use is just extra confirmation, extra confluence when you mark up your chart. So the way I got really going on this back in the day was one of my mentors was just like, hey, mark up all your charts and your time frames, and then go to your technical summary and see if things align, right? So that helped kind of shorten my learning curve, compress those time frames, and gave me the extra confirmation that I needed in regards to having confidence in my chart analysis, okay? So that is investing.com. You go to technical, click the technical tab, and then click technical summary, okay? So that's where we are. So let's take a look at the Aussie CAD. All right. And we can see another good thing that you can see is it'll give you a visual overall on what's going on with the Aussie, right, as a whole. So you can see the majority of these are in sell positions. So then when you go to your chart, you can kind of gain a better understanding of where we are in the market in regards to the Aussie. Okay. So thanks, Sean. So let's head over and take a look, okay, at the Aussie CAD, and we'll go to the weekly, okay? And like we said, we like to set up our charts because then we just let the trade setups come to us, right? Instead of us clicking on our computer and chasing a trade. So if we come to the weekly, okay, on the Aussie CAD, you can say we got this strong push down, okay, to this level of support. So it formed a swing low, which just closed out. So we work in swing lows and swing highs, okay, far as structure in regards to candlesticks. And we can see here that we've got 2 candles to the left, 1, 2. We've got our center candle low, and then we've got 2 candles to the right, which we see here on Friday, it closed out. So these 2 candles to the right are higher than the center wick low. And so that's our swing low. So that formed a support level. That's a support, okay? And then you can see moving up through here. All right. Now it hasn't given it to us yet, right? It hasn't given it to us yet because this closed on Friday. So when this opens on Sunday, I already put it there knowing that that's going to be a new support level. Okay. Now, this here, this support level right here was broken. Okay, can everybody see that? Price made its way down through the zone, like so. So price made its way down through the zone, like so. Okay, and it came down, pushed. Okay, it broke this level, and then it came right back up. So what the smart trader did is it put that support level right back in place because it pushed back up and closed beyond this level. So it's just letting you know that, hey, there's a level there that price broke through, and it didn't retest it. Okay, like it did here. See how it broke it? It pushed down and then retested and pushed down. It didn't retest and hold and continue down yet. What it did was is it pushed right up through it. Okay, like so. So just a couple cool things that a smart trader kind of figures out, on his own, just to put that level of structure back in place. Okay, so that's where we are on the weekly. So we've been pushing down, and now we've got this reversal off the support that formed. Okay, so we go here to the Aussie CAD, you see that, hey, it's neutral, and then there's a buy. Well, we can see we came in neutral because we ended the week with this doji candle. You see that? So it's signaling like, hey, it's neutral. But if you look on the, okay, your other time frames, your daily, your 1 hour, your 15-minute, is saying a buy. And we can see all the way from the weekly time frame that, yeah, that makes sense, right? Price has been pushing up for, at this high point of this doji candle, for 252 pips off that support. And now we're in the doji, which means if you could just imagine visually, price hit this high point and then you had sellers come in. So you can see even from your weekly, you're in the up and price is just retracing, right? So if we work our way down through our daily time frame, okay, this is where we are presently in this market, okay? So longer term, we've had these up ABCDs. So if we zoom out, okay, we can kind of see where you had this huge push that came to the downside. It bottomed out, and then it made a nice V-type recovery and start pushing back up. So we started our ABCD waves to the upside, okay? And then you can see price just kind of did its own thing. It pushed down the Aussie CAD. Like, this is one of the reasons Shauna was talking about she can't stand the CAD, right? And not only the CAD, you've got two commodity currencies, right? The Aussie is a commodity currency too. Sometimes they can get a little crazy. So it made a nice ABCD move. It came off our 61.8, right? Which is in confluence with a weekly support level. So look, past resistance, okay? Past resistance becoming future support way over here now, okay? And then it pushed up and it was like, wow, that's a clean move. That's an AB or C, which at that point was the deepest level within our AB boundary, right at a 61.8. That's a beautiful U-turn. We expect a 1.618 D extension, but it came up just shy. It hit a monthly, right? This black dash dotted line here, this horizontal, is our monthly time frame structure. So you can see that it came all the way up just shy of that 1.618, and then it just was a sell-off there. And we pushed deeper into our zone. As a matter of fact, we pushed all the way down to a 786 level. Okay, so the market took back 78.6% of this initial move, right? So it was a wicked move to the downside, and this is where we are currently. So we recently, all right, and this is what we're focusing on right now. So we see where we are long-term with that price action on the daily. But recently what we've gotten was what? We got this strong push up that broke our downtrend line, okay? That broke our downtrend line. And now it's looking like we're topping out, okay? So this is our high price candle here, So if we zoom in, you can see this is our high price candle. Okay, that had the highest close. So we've got barely. So we've got our 2 to the left, we need 2 to the right. Okay, we don't have that yet. It'll be another day. Okay, once the market opens, if it closes lower, then this is our high, right? And then what you'll have is you'll have a daily sub fib to the upside like this. Swing low to that swing high, like so. Okay, that'll form. All right. And so we're looking at right now off of this leg here, because this is a long drawn out move. Long drawn out move. So we need to come down and focus more in real time. So we know long term, if this wants to get bullish, right? Pull back and stay bullish, then we know that our projected D extension is up here around this 127 zone. Long term, okay? But okay, in the short term, the medium term, this is what we're focusing on. This latest impulse move that broke this downtrend line. Okay, and Shauna, this is where you can kind of get your X. So you can see how I've taken this trend line here, this downtrend line off the daily, and ran it all the way down to the 1 hour time frame. So I just transferred it down to the 1 hour time frame. And you could, I mean, you could use you could go to the 1 hour and do it as well, but then you have to scroll all the way back in time and find that high point. Okay. Whereas with your daily, you can kind of, when it for this long-term trend line here, this long-term from the daily, you could kind of just transfer it down. So you can.
I got a question. So you took it from the high point on the daily where it starts shifting down.
Yep.
Okay, that's where you should take it from. Okay.
So wherever that, your high point, or if it was going the other way, your low point, right? And then you run it. And that'll let you know just spatially on your lower time frames where you are in regards to that, in regards to that impulse move to the downside, right? Because it's showing you now, look, we got a clean, that's a clean trend line break that we got. And we know that trend lines are just another form, right? A diagonal form of support and resistance. We broke it. And just like any other support resistance, eventually price likes to try to pull back and retest it. All right. And then besides that, this blue, right? So this blue level here was what? Past support that we covered on the higher time frame on the weekly. So this is showing you on the daily where it broke it, right? It broke it, actually did try to pull back to it. And then it pushed down and now it's back up above that level. So it's likely that at some point you're going to get a retest to the downside. So when you look at this, at the Aussie CAD is like, it's neutral from the weekly, but in the daily, you're in a strong buy. Well, that makes sense. You've got an impulse move off of this level here, all the way up long, right? You've been bullish for over 250 pips. So that makes sense. Okay. And now you're looking at your 1 hour and your 15 minutes just saying buy. So if we go down to the 1 hour now, and we look at this move. So this entire move here, okay, this entire move here was what? That's that push up, that 250 plus pip push up that we just saw from the weekly, with those weekly candles that were bullish, from our daily candles that were bullish. This is it right here. So in order for price, and then you can see that daily trend line, you see it? Right? That came down.
I see it.
And then you have to just adjust, right? So with Smart Trader, it's such a long trend line, you have to kind of bring it back and move it forward a little bit, right? So you can see where we've got, take this off right now. Well, we've got this trend line that's been broken, and now we're thinking about what? A pullback. So in order for us, shifted wrong now. But in order for us to see if I can get that back in order. Anyway, but you can see where we got it, broke, and now we're bullish, but we're in that up sort of retracement zone. So we never got on this 1 hour fib running to the upside as price climbed. We never got the pullback to at least the 382, right? We haven't gotten it yet. So you can see price made its way up, pushed up like crazy beyond that 127. And then you can see now where it's trying to push back down, and we could possibly be getting that retracement back down to the downside, right?
Yeah.
So, yep.
Where'd you draw that red trend line from? You drew that on your 1 hour, or you took it from another time frame?
You can take it on a 1 hour, but I drew it from the daily, right?
Okay, so
I drew
you drew the blue one and the red one from the daily. I got you.
Yeah, I drew it from the daily, right? Just to see what the overall alignment was. And then here, right, you could draw your inner trend line. So you can see this point here where it touched. Okay. You could take your smart hold on. Oops. You could take your smart tool, okay, and just run it from that level. Didn't give it to you there, so you got to drag it. It's got two areas that's too close. So we'll do it like this. And take it from that area where you got that second touch and pull it straight up, right? Pull it straight up, and you try to get through that highest point, which is right here. So there's your touch of those candles up there. Okay, so you can see where you got a more aggressive trend line there. So this came off my daily, and then you've got a more aggressive trend line that you could draw there, because on your lower time frames you get smaller waves, right? So you can see where price is now started to drop off, and it's starting to make those down ABCD waves, right? So we broke through some levels. You had us at some point, you had a support level here, there, okay, even here, okay. You had a level here, okay. Back here, you see that level here that it came down through, right? There, it's right there now. Well, here now, actually. That'd have been a couple of them, but it's coming down through these levels now, right? So you can see that it's starting to now make these downward waves, right, to the downside, okay, like so. And now we're back up to this level. We got a stochastic that's head towards being oversold, but not quite yet. So we'll see if it continues down to that 382 like that. So yes, overall, okay, on the Aussie CAD is long, but as we always say, are we long? Are we in an up retracement zone potentially? Or are we in that up push zone eventually? Okay, we like that low price. So we like for price to come down to these deep levels, this green area, our sweet spot. And then if it wanted to continue bullish eventually, right, then we look for price to reverse and continue long, okay? But right now, it appears that we're in an up retracement zone. So price is retracing. That's that B2C move, right? As crazy as it looks, how drawn out it has been, that's because you end up, you for a little bit, you got some weakness in that CAD. You got weakness in the Aussie. We know that, right? We know we've got weakness in the Aussie. So it's the same way. If you got two weak currencies, they got to battle it out. If you got two strong currencies, they got to battle it out. And sometimes that's when you see that consolidation and that sideways push. So this has been kind of funny, but it seems like it's trying to get back on this right path. So we'll see as we go into the week. So that downward push, that downward target, if we get that 382, just like always, is right here. And that's still like between 60 and 70 pips away. So that's where we are on the Aussie CAD, and that's how we work the top-down analysis, everybody, to find out where we are. All right. So talking to our new teammates that are on here today, that's how we figure it all out, and we let the market do what it wants to do. All right. Now, if you overall you say, hey, I'm a bull on this, okay, I don't want to play any type of counter type trend setups, then you just wait for your low price. So the setup is the same. The setup is the same because you need this price. You want to buy at the lowest price possible. And we like to buy in this green area, the 61.8s, the 786, those deep retracement levels. We want that deep discounted price if we think we're going to remain a bull and go long. Okay. So either way you want to play it, that's what it is. All right. Any questions on this Aussie CAD? No?
No, sir.
All right. And if you look at our daily, right? If you're looking at our daily stochastic, right? We're overbought. We're at 93%. Okay. We're close to 100% at one point and starting to curve over a little bit. So the momentum, right? This is telling you about momentum. It doesn't tell you about time, guys. Understand that with the indicators. It tells you about momentum, right? And that it may be slowing down in a particular direction, right? This is what it's telling you, okay? But it doesn't tell you about time. This, we always say, like, right, it's between 7 and 11 candles, right? From bottom to top, from top to bottom, bottom to top, okay? So it doesn't say at this specific given time, this is when you should be selling. It's just an extra piece of confirmation for the puzzle that you're trying to put together. Okay, so that's why no one thing is the be all or end all. Okay, we just kind of use it for confirmation. All right, in regards to our technical and fundamental bias. All right, so that's the Aussie CAD. Now, one of the things I want to delve into with you guys, especially those that have been here for a while, right, who like to intraday trade, when you talk about time frames and waves, right? The lower the time frame, the smaller the wave. But you guys can see that right here, for example, on this play, that the ABCD waves play out regardless of the time frame. Okay, and we'll keep clicking through these as we go through, right? So even on the 5 minute, you have a chance for these ABC waves that B to C move, right? Your B to C move and your C to D move the same. Okay, so once you really get it down, once you build the confidence in the ABCD structure and the fundamentals of it, right, and the entire philosophy, then you can start to, if you're that type of intraday trader, that day trader that wants, you want to have your stuff closed out at the end of the day, right? 5 minute, 15 minute, right? Doesn't matter. The market's going to move in waves, just smaller waves on the lower time frames, right? So you can see, from this B off this U-turn, right? That's 12 pips. Your 61.8 is 1920 pips, right? So for my intraday, your scalpers, things like that, the philosophy is still the same. Your B to C move and then your trend move, your C to D, okay? So I like when I'm on this level anywhere between 10, 15 pips, max 20, right? Depending on the pair and the ATR, because you really start paying attention to that on those lower time frames, like pound pairs can move big, right? So that's the range that I like to keep my stop. And then usually I really like to have, right, when I'm trading on those lower time frames like that, gotta be, I would prefer minimum 10, 15 pips to that 382, right? If not more, to make it all make sense, to make it work out. But this is how you can play those lower time frame type of setups. Okay, so we'll look at, I brought my 5 minute charts up today, so we could take a look at some of these plays. So even when you have, like, if you were using your wider stop loss from that B boundary, right, even beyond this D extension is not even 20 pips, right? Matter of fact, it's 16, right? You had 20 pips outside of this D extension. Okay, so there's some things that you could do on that 5 minute if you're that stone cold lock day trader where you're looking for those setups to be in and out. Okay, like this setup here off the reversal. Okay, so we'll look at it as we go throughout. All right. So let's go and take a look at the Aussie Swiss. So just a quick rehash on that 1 hour. We look to be right in our up retracement zone. So it's still looking short. I would like to see this continue short down to at least this 382, right? And some of them, they trade where that 382 at the counter trend, right? Which is originally how I was taught. Counter trend trades, you take it down to the 382. And then after that, you can get out, especially if it's going to go back long. You then wait for your buy opportunity. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways you can set that up. But if you only want to take counter trend trades to the 382, you could do that as well, right? Taking money off the table along the way if you want to do that too. So on to the Aussie Swissy. Okay, so we'll go here and we'll take a quick look at the technical summary on the Aussie Swiss. And you can see, look, we're short pretty much across the board. We got a neutral, right? We got a neutral signal here on the daily, which 1 hour and 15 minute is a sell and align with the weekly. So if we come out and we take a look at our weekly time frame, okay, So we've got this push. Here's this long-term outer trend line off the weekly. So if I zoom out here like this, okay, you can see it's not aligning quite right. There we go. Okay.
So did you take both of those down? Both of those blue? Oh, three. You got three of them.
What'd you say? Yeah, it for some reason it was just off. It's right here on my daily. So
Okay.
yeah. So what you do, because when you drop your smart trend line, it can end up funny, right? On a lower time frame, the way it transfers. So what I always do is I like to take another one and just like the ray tool and just trace over it. You could have just used the ray there if you wanted to, right? Or did I? Yeah, I switched it up. Hold on. I got rid of the smart trend line. So this is my ray tool. So if you're just using the ray tool, sorry about that. Got confused for a second. So if you're just using the ray tool, you could just click on it and link it, right? So you could change it like this, and then you could just link it down. All right, like so. And then you'll see it. You see it there going across? That's that trend line there. Okay. So I just do it for accuracy with the longer term trend lines, because as you move down through your lower time frames, you got more waves and you can see how the momentum pushed to the downside. And now I got this inner trend line. So I know I'm right on the money with my higher time frame. So just a little something extra I do to make sure that I'm right on point.
So that inner trend line, you drew that off the daily.
Yeah, right? This one came off the daily. Yep.
Got you.
This one came off the daily. Yep. Because the wave got smaller from the weekly, right? So you got extra waves, and that momentum that pushed down shows you that the speed of the market increased to the downside. Okay.
So it came down there. It came down there by that demand consolidation zone to the left, huh? And then bounce off. Okay.
Yep. Yep. And then you see this here, right? See that one? You know where that one's from, right?
Right.
From that weekly level. You see that? So just following, and that's that break, right?
Yeah.
And that's that break. So that's that break, and then that push down. Okay. So you can see here where it's saying short, it's a sell. But if you go back up to the weekly, right? Okay. It's calling a sell because you see how that weekly candle closed coming out of last week.
Yeah.
Right. So you got your push down, and then we're pushing down. So overall, sell, we got this push up, but then we're pushing down. So it's still calling your sell on that. All right. So you got a neutral on your daily, and then you got a strong sell overall. So if we go down through our daily time frames, we can start to see our daily time frame. We can start to see, look, it's calling a sell because we've got a what? We broke the inner trend line, but we're in a what? It's retracing. It's pushing downward now. You see that? See how it's pushing down off that level? And it's a key level here because if you zoom out, look, past support, broke, resistance. Now it's acting as resistance again. Okay, it's acting as resistance again. And your stochastic, it's in the sell zone from a daily perspective. Okay. And you can see here that we got this push down. So we actually took this high out, right? We took it out, and now we're pulling back. And we know, right, if we draw a crown here, that there's the potential, okay? There's the potential for a downside target to be here like this, right? So look, here, there's that resistance level. Okay. We actually broke that level. We broke that high, and then we pushed up past it, and now we got the pullback. Okay. Potentially here, right? Left tip, 4C, the right tip. Okay. So you have a potential for a crown there off that inner trend line break. Okay. So this is why we're short. See how we're short there? So we've been pushing up, but now we're short. And you can see here where, look at that, straight down. So if you go down to your 1 hour, okay, here's that same type crown formation that we drew up last week. You guys remember when we drew this up last week? When it was way up here? Now, from that level, oops, wrong tool. From that level, right, from that high level, we've dropped now, what is that, 80 pips? We've dropped 80 pips. It pulled back and it's a continuation down. So we're still looking, okay, for this downside target. Okay, let me zoom all the way out so everybody can see this. Okay, see it? It's your same look off the daily down to your 1. Okay, so now when you're looking at crown patterns and harmonic patterns and things like that, here's that entire leg. And how you use the fibs on those patterns is you trace the entire leg. Well, that's nothing more than just pulling this daily fib here, this daily fib off of this level. Okay, that's nothing more than transferring this down, right, clicking on it and linking the object to the lower time frame. And this is the fib that you see on the 1, right? So we're in this up, and now price is pulling back, so we're short, right? So we're right in line with when you see that the technical summary is saying it's on a sell. Yeah, because price is pushed up and now it's pushing down in that zone. And you can see so far we're right to the tune of 80 pips. It's moving down, and we've got like 38 pips to the 382 on that. Okay, if it wants to go all the way to that right tip, okay, we're still over 100 pips away from that. Okay, so we're still pushing down, right? We're still short on the Aussie. Okay, we're overall short on the Aussie to the downside. Okay, so we'll see, right? We got a nice deep pullback on this last sub fib to the downside, and now we're moving. We're continuing back down. Okay, continuing back down. If you wanted to play the counter, B to C move on that is there, right? That's there, right? That was a nice move. Its high point was 43 pips, and now we're pushing back down, right? So the trend is down right now. You got your counter trend B to C move, and now we've got a trend continuation to the downside on the Aussie CAD. So overall, we're still headed, not the Aussie CAD, but the Aussie Swiss. So we're still headed down on the Aussie Swiss. All right. Any questions on that? Yep.
No, sir.
Okay. Yep. I'll get on that Aussie NZD for sure. For sure, Phil. Thanks. So if we come here, and if you come even to your 5, right? Okay. If you come even to your 5-minute chart, look at the move. It was actually identical on your 5-minute. Okay. So if you measure here outside this 127, okay, that's 20 pips outside the 127. Okay. There's over a 40 pip move. All right. To your 382 was about 20. So that's a 1-to-1. Okay, and then you got 32 there, and at that 786, it was 40 pips. So you would have had a 2-to-1. So if you're a short-term intraday scalper, everything we teach can apply on all time frames. Right? We're just gonna put it there, right? So you could be following this back down to the downside now. You got a 786 pullback, so your D extension is a projected 1.27 on that for that D extension to get hit if you're taking it with the trend. And then after that, wherever it forms that low, we'll eventually see a new fib form. Okay, and here's that target one right here at that 1 hour 382. Okay, so it can work for everybody. It can work for everybody. So that's the Aussie Swiss. No questions. We are going to move on and take a look at the Aussie yen. Okay, so if we come to the technicals on the Aussie yen, look at this. You got a neutral position on the weekly, and then we're just short. So if we go and we take a look at the COT report, all right, on the Australian dollar, right? Show this just for an example on the Aussie dollar, and we like to look at the leveraged funds, right? The hedge funds, right? We want to focus on that. If you look at the leveraged money, they are short on the Aussie dollar, right? So that's your hedge funds, your fast movers, right? Your speculators, okay? That's moving that market more long term, okay? More long term banks, things like that. 81,000, they're short too. So overall, that Aussie is short. So you can see here the amount of positions, the amount of long positions that they closed out on. Look at that. Okay. So that's just another little confirmation tool that you can use. We won't go into too much detail about it today because we got to move through the charts. But that's just something to pay attention to. And then we've also got training coming up in October where we'll go over this in greater detail. But if you look at the COT report, which is a past data from a week ago, right? So as this is 9/7, right? So it's from the previous week, but you can see, right, where the money is moving on that Aussie. And you can see it on the charts. You can see it. You can see it on your Aussie pairs on the charts. Okay. So let's go and take a look at this Aussie yen. We got a neutral candle, right? That makes sense. That makes sense. We went bullish, then we almost came back and took back that entire move with this bearish move to close out the week. Okay. So we're neutral there, but you can look at the overall price structure on that and how that's moving from a weekly time frame. Zoom out, look at these levels. You can see where it reacted. Okay. And now we push down through this level, right? Through this level here, and then we push right back up. Okay. And it likes to do that. And now we may be headed for the continuation down. Okay. So if we go here, we put in our levels, you can see, look, we got a swing low like so. Okay. Took out this level, pushed up, formed a low here. So look, usually you just come through your charts every week. Do I have new levels? Yeah, I got a new level. Just like that. Don't have to be exact on the number. Just we know it's a zone anyway. And then you just link it down so you have that level. So we can see that we're down, price pulled back, and now we may be continuing down. We'll see. So we'll go to the daily. All right. And we can see overall on this long-term move, right? Huge impulse move to the upside. Huge impulse move to the upside. So we're in a daily, from a daily perspective, this is selling off because we're in a retracement zone. We're in an up, our fib is up, retracement zone. And this is why we're making these ABCD waves to the downside, because we're in an up retracement zone, right? So if we look at the overall and how a wave sequence works in an uptrend, right? We look at how it works in the uptrend. Look, A to B, you get all types of crazy stuff in between, but ultimately, if this wants to continue long, it's going to make what? A higher high, a higher low, and then continue long, if that's what it wants to do, right? So this is the ABCD sequence that we're always talking about. This is it in the uptrend. So look, here's a major low. Here's a higher high, higher than that high. Here's a low that's higher than the previous low. Okay. So on your daily time frame, we're in a retracement zone. We came down to a key level, right? We've come down to around this, between this 50% pullback level, right? Retracement level on the fib. So out of this 0 to 100% move, the market has taken back 50%, 50+%, almost 61%, but we didn't get it yet, at least. And now you've got these down sub fibs. This is just tracking the price action to the downside, right? So if you go back here and you look, and it says the ASEAN is on the sell. Yeah, because it's been selling. It has been selling, okay? And now you got this pullback, it pushed up, and now we're at this level on the ASEAN, the same level, and we're pushing down. So this, yes, this is the long drawn out move. So when we're trading short term to medium term, we zoom right in on this area right here. Let me turn this lock off. We zoom right in on this area, okay? And we got the same, almost the same technical pattern that we seen on what? What was the last pair we looked at, everybody?
Switching.
Absolutely, right? So you've got pretty much, right, the same type of technical look, okay? Took out this level, push, down, right? Down, somewhere in this zone right here. This B boundary is a strong look here. It could be that B boundary, right? Okay. Somewhere we just know, somewhere, keep that battery charged. Somewhere in this zone, right? Somewhere in this zone, right? We can have the potential of a reversal. But right now, we just need to focus on this right here, okay? This is pushing down. That's why it has us in a sell, right? So if I come back here, right, you can see where this price, okay, is reversing. So this is that same pattern. This is that same pattern. I actually like it here from this 1 hour. This is that same crown, okay? So I actually like to see it from here. So look, that's that same crown. I like that low point right in confluence with that 61.8. So we'll take that one, not this one. Same zone, but we'll see how it reacts. So look, this is that same pattern that you just saw on the Aussie Swiss. Look, that's that same pattern, everybody. Okay, so it makes sense that we're in an up retracement zone right now. It is selling off, okay? So what you're looking at, take this off right now that we see that. These are your 1 hour fibs to the upside to get to this point, okay? Larger wave, smaller wave. So these are your smaller waves. So we can set our targets off of this, okay? Look, new FAB boundary. We got that 80-20. It reversed off that downtrend line, right? So here's that X shining right there, right? Off your inner. It's an X off your inner, and then you got it there for your long term. You see it there? All right. So now we're pushing down. So we've been right on this move. So if you got in on this move, we've been short, right? We've been short on this move. You get out at this 127, that's 85 pips to the downside, right? If you caught it at the top of that trend line and it rejected, right? You're over 100 pips now. We're almost to target one. Almost to target one, okay? So another way that you could do it, because it is a crown pattern, right? And it puts you in the same position, is what do we do? On the last crown pattern, okay? When you have completed legs in a pattern, then that's when you can take your fib like this, right? From top to bottom, like so. Boom, from that high, from that low to that high. And if you trace it down, because the larger time frame wave is bigger, the fib is going to be bigger. So you can see how it just engulfs all of those 1 hour smart fibs, right? The smart fibs enable you, so if we move this out the way, the smart fibs enable you to take advantage, right, of these smaller waves on the way up, right? And you can compound and make your money. But once it's complete and you have a pattern and you have a level of a pattern that got completed, then this is how patterns, when you're using patterns and you're using the Fibonacci sequence, this is how they are made, like this. So you could take this like here. Let me see. You can move this out. And if I clicked on this and I deleted these smaller fibs because that wave got completed, you can move this one in like that. And you'll be moving in a similar position. Does everybody see that? I know it's confusing. I have to watch the video back. But you can see how, because of the daily time frame is a larger wave overall, that the fib from that daily time frame just engulfs all of those smaller ones. All right. And you're headed to the downside. So if you're drawing a crown and you see that pattern, okay, then again, look, it's really, right, just a down ABCD followed by an up ABCD. That's what that is, right? So look, okay. Okay. That's what that looks like, right? That's all it is. Down ABCD, you got a reversal to an up ABCD. That's a crown, right? And it takes out, right? Price takes out the A, because if this is an ABCD, we know our OC becomes our new A and our D becomes our new B, right? So ABCD, let me move this out the way, right? That's our D. So if this would have finished out to all the way down, it reversed. But if this would have finished out, then this becomes your new A, this becomes your new B, but price reversed and took out what would be the A. And then it pulls back, and then it pulls back. So now the head and shoulders, you don't have an even neckline. It breaks it, forms a high beyond that, and then it pulls back. Okay, so that's the difference. But that's how we recognize that. And it just takes time, right? It takes time to see that, to kind of mark out those levels. But even if you never knew that, if you never knew that, okay, we know that we've got a new AB boundary, and we know that B boundary is what we like to call our bat signal for a potential reversal, either immediately or at the 118, 127, if you don't get a pullback right away to the 382. Okay. So, and I know, like Ryan always says, if you knew, it probably sounds like a bunch of gibberish, but we promise you, if you go back and put the time in and watch the videos, go to your back office and continue to show up for yourself during the weekly sessions, this will all come together for you. All right. So this is where we are. We're pushing down. Right. So far, so good on the Aussies with our technical analysis, right? We're in that up retracement zone. Now, if price wanted to just continue and push down, then hey, if it comes down and takes out our A level, then that's just, it is what it is. Then we trade it the other way. We just flow with the market. We can't force the market to do anything. Can't tell the market what to do. Okay. We just do our technical analysis, we do our fundamental analysis, and we take the highest probability setup. Any questions on the Aussie yen? Juan Wilson, very interesting. It is. It is. How the patterns and things like that play out. Price action is fascinating to me. All right. It's leaving the footprints. It's leaving footprints. All right. Leaving clues. So that's where we are. We don't have any questions on the Aussie yen. I'm gonna go ahead on to the Aussie NZD. Take a look at it. Right. And this was our potential setup from last week on the 15th that we marked up, I think, on Thursday, but we never got that downtrend line to break. And you can see, so you never got all the confirmation that you needed, so it just continued down, right? So no trade on that. But let's start out and see where we are. So if we go to the Aussie NZD, it's just like these right here, you love them. You love them, right? Just short. We're just short throughout. So if we look here, just from a weekly perspective, right? Just a clustered mess, right? But you can find, right, when you're moving sideways like this, if you just use your horizontal support and resistance from your higher time frames, it'll tell the tale. Look, Everybody can see that clean. Are we buying or are we selling, everybody?
So
Right, right. We're short. So we're short here. We broke this. This is monthly level of support. We broke it. Okay. So somebody tells me typically, right, at some point, what likes to happen when you break a support level?
Likes to retest.
Exactly, exactly. Good job. Good job. So it likes to retest. So this is a crazy impulsive move to the downside. Crazy impulsive move to the downside. So we know that we're short on this. Okay. And from a weekly perspective, there's nothing that's stopping us from heading back down to 99. Right now, when we move down through the lower time frames, you'll see eventually it'll form a low because you'll get some buyers to come in there to push the price back up. Right, buyers will come in and push the price back up. And if I'm a big money person and I'm selling, I love it because it'll push the price back up to a high price that I can sell again. So you can buy, right? Buy back up to the high price and then short it, right? You get buyers to come back in, give me another high price and I'll unload some more, okay? That's how those waves are created. So if we come down to the daily, you can just see that, look, we're just down, right? If you put the waves on that, we're just down. We're just straight to the downside. So if I come in here, all right, and this is what I'm saying. You can use your smart tool, okay, and put your trend line on there like that, right? And then you can trace over it and take it down, or you can just manually do it, right? If you know how to draw your trend lines, you can manually do it. If you don't yet, just use the smart trend line and then start to work and teach yourself by tracing over it, okay? Like this. So just like that, if we zoom in, here you can see that second touch, right? So you pull it out. We don't like to go through the wicks, right? Get your high point, you bring it out, you bring it down. There's my second touch, right around there. So I could take this and link this down like so, okay? And then from that second touch, right? Because we're talking about speed, momentum, and direction of the market. So you can see, look at the angle on this trend line, and then look at how price dropped off from there. Okay. So we all can see with our own eyes in real time that the momentum picked up to the downside. So the speed of the selling picked up. Okay. So now you take it from that second touch, pull it out again, bring it down until you get that next touch right here. Sit there, bang, just like that. And then you can link that down like so. Okay. So now as we go down through the lower time frames, it can get more aggressive. Okay. But for the daily, this is where I want to leave it right here. Okay. So because we know that we got that break of support, and we know that price has the potential to, like you guys said, to pull back. Right. So we know that price can eventually pull back if it wants to. So we'll see, right? Our stochastic right now is in the sell zone heavy. This is a strong move to the downside. So we may not get that pullback, right? Off this current wave, it may push down all the way to this D extension and up against this daily support. And then there's that monthly support at 99. Okay, so we'll see. We'll monitor this closely, but we know overall that we are short right now. We're short. So let's go down and take a look at the one. Okay, and you can see exactly what that looks like on a 1 hour. Okay, if I zoom out and bring my 1 hour fibs in, right, we've got virtually no retracement. Okay, this was that level of the potential double bottom at the 127. It failed, right? That's the one we were tracking from the 15 to see if we can get that trend line break. We never got it. It just continued down. No biggie, right? So if we apply this, if we apply my simple chart to get the stochastic on here, you can see that this is now back in the buy zone. Okay, so it's just a matter if it wants to reverse now or if it's going to carry to that D. So now that you got, look, so now look, you had your outer, you got your, well, this is now going to be your outer, and that's your long-term trend line. But now look, you got an aggressive inner trend line because of the way it just continued to push down and close out the week like that. Okay. So at first, this trend line was like that, right? Because this was your lowest point. So if we zoom in and we come in and we say, hey, there's a potential, we got a reaction. Look at that long wick off this level of support. What was then support? Potential double bottom. We got a break, but then look what it did. It shot right back down to form a lower low. So here was the low. Now you got a lower low. Okay, so that's why on the 15 we had that counter trend line drawn and saying, hey, let's see off this push up if we're going to get a retracement and it takes back a percentage of this move, right? This bullish move, or if it doesn't break that trend line, it's going to just continue down. That's exactly what it did on the 15. But now that this is the low, okay, pay attention to this, guys, because this is really how you keep good trend lines. Now that we have a new low, you don't keep this trend line here. You have to adjust this trend line like that because you've made a lower low in the market. And the whole idea of trend lines is to track the momentum and the speed in the direction of the market and to work your way through the lowest point. But we don't work our way through the lowest point by drawing through candlesticks. So you go over that high point and here's your low. So now you can accurately see that this is a continuation to the downside. So everybody see that? That's very, very important because I know you guys probably see it in other places. Stuff is going all through candlesticks and everything. You have to adjust that now. You've made a low. Okay. We didn't get a full reversal. It made a low. So now you're in position to where if it did want to make a U-turn, we can pull this out now because it took this level out. If it did want to make a U-turn and start making up ABCDs, now you have a more accurate confirmation. Okay. You have a more accurate confirmation. It failed the last time, but we know in the back of our mind, we still didn't get this 382 pullback. But sometimes that momentum is so strong that it will just carry to the 1.618D extension without doing that. If it does, that's fine. You just wait for the new fib to set up. Okay. So we are overall short. Okay. Strong momentum to the downside. We are short with the potential for a counter trend trade pullback, right? If we can get the price action. So if we got the price action on the one to break, you can take it aggressively off the break, put your stop below the low at this point, right? So if this U-turns, that's the cool thing about understanding swing lows and swing highs is that if this U-turns, it's going to form a low somewhere and U-turn, okay? You can put your stop right below that. And if you want to play it aggressively off the inner trend line break, then you can do it. If not, then you wait for a high to form on the backside of that trend line, and then you wait for a pullback. And then you can put your sub fib there, and if it pulls back to your level, just like we were trying to set up for last week, but it didn't happen because we drew this counter trend line to the downside, and we never got the break. It pushed it, and then it just continued down. See, it pushed, and then it just continued down. So if you see this reversal happen, and it's strong bullish move, and then it pulls back, if it holds and you get your confirmations, stochastic in the right zone, trend line break with a strong bullish candlestick formation on the backside, then you can look to trade that inner to outer trend line, right? And then if it continues on through that, right? If it breaks through and hits this 1.618, then we know we've got the potential that we may be headed back to the 382 on this capital down AB fib. Okay. So it's just waiting, right? Like Shauna said, she got the t-shirt, right? We get paid to wait. You have to wait. You have to wait. Okay. So this, I didn't short this because I never got a high price, right? So if I'm using the fibs in order for me to take this short, because people would say, hey, well, man, this trade shorted over 100 pips. Well, what does your trade plan say? If my trade plan tells me that I only take shorts based on my fibs at my 61.8 levels, my 786 levels, then I never got that. I never got that. So I wouldn't have shorted it. Now, if your trade plan says that you can do that, then you do it. Okay, but that's why we have to have rules, because everything looks great in the market, everything, and that's where you get yourself into trouble with over trading. But that's why we look at all the pairs, because if there's not an opportunity on this setup, then there's some other opportunities out there, as we've seen so far with the Aussie pairs. Everybody got me on that. Drop me a 2 in the chat if everybody understands that. That's very, very important. You have to have rules. Awesome. Any questions on this Aussie NZD before we move to the Aussie dollar and wrap up the Aussie pairs?
I have a question.
Sure.
So personally for you, when you drew that yellow rectangle, is that just for easy representation, or were you putting an alarm on it to see if you could possibly put in a long or a buy?
Yeah, we drew it because I just boxed it out that it was in the zone for a double bottom type play. That it was in the zone and there was a possible U-turn. You can put an alarm on it. You could put a horizontal at that level, put an alarm on it. But you can see I still got the original markup here. So this was the break. This was that zone. And you can see it just never got it never pushed through this counter trend line. You see that how it just continued? So it was a failed setup, you know, but you stick to your rules and your confirmations. Never took it. Even if you limit it in, say at a 61.8 on that, your stop was right below the A. So you weren't risking much at all. The upside to that was huge, you know. But for those type of setups, I really like to look for confirmation, you know, add some confirmation to it and not just limit. But if we limit in, we trade in smaller lot sizes anyway, right? Then we typically would waiting on other confirmations. So, I mean, if you took a hit on that, you should be okay. You know, should never blow an account off of this type of move. But you know, we never got that trend. It tried to, but then it just continued to the downside. So, but yeah, you could set it up. You could set an alarm on the box. You could have put a horizontal at the level, right? You could have moved it if this was your level here like this. You could have put it on there. You could have put an alarm on this downtrend line. You could have put an alarm on there and said, hey, if price crosses up, right, through that, tell me every 5 minutes, and then your email address and your phone number, put it in there. And as long as you got your computer on and you got your computer running, it'll send you a message to your email or your cell phone and let you know that price is crossing up through that trend line on the Aussie New Zealand. Okay. So if you're busy out and about, you're at work, and that would have happened, you could have got an alert to your phone. But you have to have your software up and running on your computer at home or whatnot for that to alert you. So if somebody's out there is trying to use alarms on smart trading, you wonder why you didn't get the alarm, it's because you probably shut down your computer. So you had to leave it running for it to do that. So just a little nugget on that.
Ben, this 151. I had some questions about that. See, I did the same tracking of it, and I thought it would be the 80-20 buy on it on that 1 hour. But I looked at the technicals like on the other website, and it was all sell. So I was like, well, you know, it's giving me 80-20, but it's all saying short on it though. You know, not even like a pullback. And I watched the fibs on it. Some of them, the fibs that was previous fibs, it only went back like to 23, and then it just turned back around. So I was like, well, it might not be that good because it's so short. I guess the money they pulling away from the Aussie, and it's falling. So I don't know if it'll give me a pullback.
Yeah. So I definitely love your thought process, right? This is just one of the ones where that New Zealand is strong, right? So it's kind of this right here is a weak versus an extremely strong currency in the New Zealand. See, the New Zealand, right? The Royal Bank of New Zealand has been way ahead of the rest of the globe, other economies in regards to forecasting and raising interest rates and tapering and doing all of that stuff. So they've been way ahead. So that currency is strong. It's strong right now. So when you look at it against the Aussie that has been weak, right? You see these extreme impulse moves to the downside, right? Now, keep in mind too that on your technical summary, it's all in a sell, but we know that even with sales, price retraces. In order for you to sell something, somebody's got to be buying, right? So that's why price retraces. There has to be somebody on the other end of the exchange. That's the beautiful thing about the Forex market, is that the market is so big and it's so liquid that there's always somebody on the other side of the exchange, right? 99.9% of the time. Whereas stocks, you can get caught holding that bad boy if it ain't nobody on the other side and you just out of luck, right? There goes the neighborhood. But with the Forex, 6.6 trillion or whatever it is now, money's constantly moving, right? There's somebody always on the other end. But you do have these extreme times where the impulse move is just strong. But eventually, buyers will come in at a low price and push that price back up. And then if it wants to continue short, right, that all of that buying just provided liquidity for the short to come right back down on their head, right? So yes, it's been impulses, and typically a lot of times, if you get a shallow retracement on one fib and it finishes out at an extension, typically within a fib or two, you're going to get a larger correction to the upside, because at some point that sweet spot is going to be hit and that reversal is going to come, right? And you're going to get a large correction. It's just like how we always say, like, hey, on this fib, this A was taken out, and that fib in the other direction typically will give you a large correction. It's the same type of play. But I like your thought process because it's strong to the downside, right? All time frames. When you're looking at the Aussie, how weak it is, when you look at how strong the New Zealand is, definitely, right? You can see why we didn't get any type of pullback in those last few fits, but it will eventually come. But then this is where just knowing your fundamentals come into play too, just like you looked at it and how you saw it, right? Thinking through the process, like, man, shallow retracements down, that New Zealand is super strong, that Aussie is super weak, right? I could stay on the short side, right? But with these, if you weren't in this early, right? If you haven't been in this early, which we did play this move back in the day, so it just depends on if people are in it or not, riding it from the point that we initially traded it to the downside, right? If you're not in it from one of these short points, then you're right. It hasn't even given you another opportunity to sell it at a high price because it's moving so fast. So thanks for the feedback on that, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Yep. Ryan, anything to add on these Aussie pairs so far?
No, sir.
All right. No questions. We'll keep rocking and rolling. Let's finish them out and go to the Aussie dollar. See what we're looking like there. Look at that, everybody. It's beautiful, right? So let's go look at the Aussie dollar. Sell. We got a neutral side on the daily, but on your 1 hour and 15, we are short. Okay. So you guys, we've been through this. You see how this flows, right? You don't have to make it difficult at all. You just don't have to make trade difficult. So here we go. We go up, we take a look at our weekly, okay? Selling, overall push down, selling, price almost came back and took out this entire, right? All the gains from the previous week almost gone, right? It's taking back 3/4 of that move to the downside. So that's why you see that sell. And then if you go here to the daily, right? What did I have it as? A neutral on your daily time frame. But it finished out. See how I was pushing sideways and how they were calling that? Look, see how it's down, but then you see how it pushed sideways and how it closed. You see that? See everybody how that closed? Just working with you guys on how to read that analysis, right? That's why they called it neutral, right? But this is neutral to bearish, right? So you can see how we got the same, right? Tell me you all are seeing this, right? Tell me you all are seeing this. Right? You got that same type of scenario, okay, on multiple Aussie pairs now. Okay, so we're down, right? Look how it pressed up. Okay, if I take this out, look how it pressed up against this trend line, right? So here, long term, yep, that impulse move was up, same scenario, right? You guys remember this who've been with us for a while? Oh, we said, hey, we got a 127 shallow retracement 80-20. And look at how, even though it pushed sideways, look at how much it's moved all the way down to the 61.8 on a daily. And then it reacted. Okay. So look at that, right? So being able to do your technical analysis, seeing that we had an 80-20 off this 127, this trade at its lowest point was down 852 pips. Okay. That's what good technical analysis will get you. Now, you may not position trade this, right? Or you may stick your toes in the water and go to your lower time frame. And every time you get a fib and a pullback, you can add to that trade, or you can take your money. You can take your money, get out, wait for a new high price, get back in. But the number one thing that people can't get right in the market is direction. Number one, direction. Number two, where to get in. And number three, where to get out. If you can figure those things out, right? Trade psychology and risk management aside, if you can figure those things out, you can do some damage in that market. Please drop me a 3 in the chat if everybody just heard what I just said and you understand that. Okay. This is where technical analysis helps, right? And that extra confirmation with the fundamentals. Okay, because most people, it's just a shot. I feel good today, it's going long, right? And you wonder why, right? You can't make money consistently. Anybody can make money in trading, but not everybody can do it consistently, right? We know for a fact that every time you click the mouse button, you got a 50-50 shot. The key is, can you gain an edge in the market, an edge that gives you consistency? Okay, so we've been pushing down and we've been pulling back, pushing down. So Phil, here's a prime example, like on a daily, where we didn't get so much of a pullback on that fib, right? So it's like the law of alternating corrections, right? Jody Samuels taught me that. So here you got a very shallow retracement that pushed down. That just tells us that the speed and the momentum of the market is strong to the downside and that the bears have control. But then when you come to this next fib, look at the large correction, right? That pushed up. But then you get those occurrences where we just saw in our eyes in New Zealand, extreme weak versus extreme strong, where you didn't get it, right? You haven't gotten that. But this is an example where we've gotten it. So you can see here where we've come down to this 61.8 level and we got a reaction. Okay, we got some demand at this level, this strong push up, but we haven't broken this trend line yet to the downside. So we're in a sub-fib down AB boundary. We're pushing bullish right out of this zone. So we've pushed bullish to the tune of, right, 300, over 300 pips. But now we're pulling back. So how is, okay, we may pull back to what if this continues bullish to this crown point, right? Which is really just a way to force you to look left on the chart, right? To look left on the chart. So if we take this down here like this, and we circle, okay, this is how you start to set these targets. And then because we know that that Oz is weak, we know the dollar is playing games, bouncing back and forth. It's been weak, right? So what you have to do is you have to just monitor and gauge this, where you say, well, right now, I know where I am from a higher time frame perspective. I'm up against this trend line, right? If I ran my sub fib to the upside on this, to the low, to the high, because we're looking at that crown formation, right? Again, I'll draw it. Look, we've got this crown formation like this, potentially, okay? So then you just start setting yourself some targets. Start setting yourself some targets, all right? And then if it wants to continue down, our stochastic is in the sell zone, and it breaks this crown level, then you just stay short. If price looks like it wants to reverse and it gives you confirmation on the lower time frames that, hey, we're at this level, has level of support, which is your left tip of the crown, and it wants to reverse now, then you can look to say, you know what, okay, I'm looking long. But right now, we know that from a fundamental perspective, that Aussie is weak. And then we don't know day to day what the heck the dollar is doing, right? So we just go down and we just play things accordingly, right? So if we come here, this what I pull down, this right here, It's just that daily down AB fib, just so I know where I'm at overall, right? We know that we can play, right? We know that we can play on a 1 hour, okay? We're just going next level now. We know on a 1 hour, we can plot our 1 hour fibs to the downside, right? So we can come up here to this high point, and if we want to play on that 1 hour time frame, we can just start mapping them out. So I already know where that next high is right here, right? We just start mapping them out, and you can see, you can scroll forward, and you can see where, look, ABCDs, then look what happened. Price reversed and took this level out, right? Well, if I go to my daily time frame, just like we showed you on the last pairs, the bigger wave is on the daily, the bigger fib is on the daily. Once that move has finished out to the downside and made that type of reversal on the 1 hour, I say, okay, I can just link this leg down here. And now that that price reversed and took out the A on that last fib on the 1 hour, that down move has completed and now it's pushing up for the meantime. So I could just take these out like that. Now I got this daily fib and I'm still pushing up in that zone. And look, we're in a critical area. Downtrend line 61.8 between the 61.8 and the 786. And we got price reversing to the downside, right? So it'll all come together and start to make sense, right? It'll all come together and start to make sense if you just keep at it. Now, see these smaller waves to the upside, right? And look at that push down. So from our 1 hour fibs, this is how we set up those short-term moves for the B to C. Look, 127, clean move back down to the downside. So Ryan likes to put order in at that B boundary, right? That's 50 pips from the B boundary to TP1. That's 80 pips to TP2. We get TP3, that's 128. But Ryan, as we all know, he likes to put that nice sneaky sell limit, right? In between that 118 and 127 in case, okay, price wants to make that shallow retracement and push up. And look, he caught that one. So he's got a B boundary trade in here. He took some drawdown on that. He's got to stop outside the range. And then look, so now Ryan's 113 on that one. And now, okay, he's 75 on that trade. Okay, all in one setup, right? And we know we all, right? We take different approaches into how we break our trades up. Juan Wilson will put 3 in, boom, at the entry. Okay, one for TP1, one for TP2, one for TP3, and adjust the stops. But the key is what? We got the direction right, right? And then we figure out where to get in and where to potentially get out. That's the whole game. That's the whole game. So if you come down here to the 1 hour, now that this move is completed to the upside and we saw that crown pattern, right? This becomes like this. That daily, this daily fib here to the upside, right? We could just here, link it down, okay? Because we saw it from the higher time frame first. And now look, there you are. So now you've got the makings, okay? Oops. Of your potential crown, okay? And we monitor that for our short-term targets. If that dollar gets strong and that Aussie stays weak and it wants to continue down, the market will let us know. The market will let us know what it wants to do. But right now, we're short, okay? Right now, we're short, okay? There's an inner trend line to that. There's a downtrend line on top of that, like so. And we're pressing down. So that's where we are currently. We are currently short on the Aussie dollar to the downside. And we'll watch the DXY next week and see what's going on. All right. So that wraps up the Aussie pairs. What questions do we have?
Hey, Benny, Wendosen said the law of what?
What Jody Same was talking,
Yeah.
alternating corrections, right? So one of the things that she taught, she was like, just watch it, you know, you'll start to see a pattern, right? And patterns where in price action to where you may get it's just to keep an eye on. So you may get a fib, right? So it's just easier if we just draw it out. So you may get a fib that forms, right? We get A, B, C, D. And then you may get a series where it makes a very shallow retracement, like so, like this. And we get this 2, 3, 6, or sometimes it's even less than that. And the move is very impulsive, where the momentum is strong to the upside. Bears try to sneak in, but then the bulls are like, no. We got buyers still, we're gonna push this price up. And you go to the D extension like that. We didn't even get a 382. We didn't even get a 236. We didn't get nothing. It just, boom, it happens. All right. So if you were limiting in and you were counting trend trading that, this is one of those times where you just get your stops hit, right? For our new folks, you will lose trades. Just want to put that out there. You will lose trades, right? So here, okay, you boom, your B2C play, you get stopped out. I wasn't buying because I didn't even get a low enough price where I like it in the sweet spot, right? Okay. So we got it hit the extension. Well, at some point, we know we get our new high to form. We didn't get a deep retracement, and we get a new AB boundary, okay? What she taught me was, okay, well, when you get this, right, one time or two times, just be on alert, right, for alternating correction. So I got a shallow retracement, and a lot of times that next retracement, right, will be deep. Okay, so alternating, right? It will be super deep, right? Because a lot of times it's just like, hey, the market was overextended, like price just kept getting pushed up, right? And so there's going to be some profit taken, a lot more profit taken, right? And give you that deeper retracement. So you're gonna have a larger sell-off because price kind of just, man, didn't get that low price pushed up. So a lot of times the market likes to unload, right? And let it go. Like, man, okay, I held on to this. This is a strong impulsive move. Maybe this price isn't gonna go too much higher. I don't see this price going too much higher without selling off, right? We're at a high price. How much more are people gonna buy at this price level, right? So you don't. If I'm big money that really moves the market, and I'm putting my orders in, and the rest of the market came and in behind me and pushed it up, well, I don't want to buy at the highest price. Nobody wants to buy at the highest price. So if I got hundreds of millions of dollars that I'm pushing in on this Aussie dollar, if I'm buying an Aussie and the price is pushing up too high, I need that price to come back down to give me a fair level to add the rest of my orders to push it up. I don't want to keep as it doesn't make any sense for me, right? I hope everybody's understanding that, right? If the price is getting pushed up too fast and I've got a ton of orders and I'm scaling in my orders, right? They don't just put it in one big huge flush, as you would see the market just go straight up. You wouldn't see the waves, right? So if I got a ton of orders in, I need that price to come back down, to sell back down to a low price, so then I can put my remaining orders in the game, right? So, man, I'm adding in orders. I got the rush behind me. Everybody start buying this Aussie dollar. Well, man, I need this. I need to unload and buy back, okay? Because I need a lower price. I'm not going to buy it. You hit a level where the price is just too high. It doesn't make any sense at that point because diminishing returns. I need that to go down. So that's how you end up with these waves. But sometimes what you were saying, what to look for is you need, right? You get that shallow retracement and explosion. Typically within the next couple of fibs, you typically will see a large correction that comes into the market. Okay, hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I meant. That's what I meant by that. All right, Amadeus, I see you. All right, so What'd you say?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, so that's it on the Aussie dollar. We are going to move into the euros next. Let's take a 5-minute break before we go into the euros. How's that sound?
Cool.
All right, cool. So we'll be back in 5 minutes. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are going to get going on these Euro pairs now. Before we switch over, any other questions? Just want to make sure on the Aussie pairs before we get moving. All right. All right. Well, let's go and head over to the Euros. Check those out. Start out with the Euro Aussie. And this has been a crazy pair. But overall, still bullish on it. Took out the fib, but I had my, luckily enough, boy, about it, my goodness, right? My stop is below that level, so I didn't get taken out. I got lucky on that one because it started to range on us, but it still pushed up at the end of the week. But so let's take a look at it overall, where we are on the Euro Aussie play. So if we come down, we look at the Euro Aussie. Overall, we are long, right? Weekly long, daily neutral. But on your 1 hour and your 15-minute, we're looking at a strong buy. Okay. So still long, even though it's the hot mess that it is right now. So let's check it out and look at the weekly. And we can see how we've been pushing up. You've had this pullback, right? That actually took out this bullish candle, this bullish move. So it's amazing how the markets can work because look, we're strong for this week here. And then the market took back everything in the next 2 weeks. So now we're back at this level, okay? Past resistance, all right? Past resistance, okay, right here, okay? Becomes future support from a weekly perspective, okay? So last week we finished strong, took back 3/4 of that bullish candle. So we'll see. But overall, right, as you can see from this high level on the weekly that we are still making, right? Those higher highs and higher lows, right? We're moving up, right? Boom, higher low, okay? So we'll see if we can continue that, all right? This right here, we'll see. We know that the Euro is getting some strong economic data. We know that in regards to tapering, they're going to taper, but they came out what the market saw as dovish, like I said, later in the week, this past week, that felt like it was just a overreaction by the market because they're still tapering. They're just not quick to speed up the process and tapering. Okay, and they've been dovish on the interest rates for a while, but they've got some good economic numbers coming out of the Eurozone, right? So not so bad. So overall, we're long, and then we can come here and we can see that this is our daily fib. Okay, so this crazy move here where we pushed up towards that 1.618 D extension after a 50% retracement, and then it reacted here at this weekly resistance level and pushed back down. That's cool because it brought it right back down into a double bottom type scenario, and we got price to reverse. Okay, but on your daily, you call it neutral. Why? Look at the 3 sideways candles. Okay, so it kind of pushed through our zone sideways. It got kind of crazy, and it actually didn't close higher. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust this like that and then move that down. So take this off. Then I'm going to move this down just so I know that we kind of push sideways, which is why you saw the whipping around that you saw on a 1 hour time frame. So we'll see, because this was that high out of those 3 candles that pushed sideways. Let's see if coming in the next week we can break the trend line and close above on Monday, Sunday going into Monday, right? Which is actually Monday. See at Monday's close if we can close higher than this candle and see if we can continue to go long on this. So if we come down to the 1 hour, right? This is why it looked promising, and then you got whipped around. So that's what you're seeing. So if you come here and you put on your daily, your candle overlay, and you put it for daily candles, you can see that it's just sideways, right? Just ranged on us, So here's this new trend line here. So I'm going to take this one out now, this old one. And we'll work with this one. We'll work with this trend line. So here, like that. And then I'll pull this out now. And let's see what we can get. Okay, so didn't mean to do that. Just candle overlay here and clear that back out. So that's where we are on that. So now you're getting a nice, honest, conservative look at that. So yes, we're bullish, right? But then we've got a sideways move here. So let's see if we can break this trend line. Okay, just adjust this new adjusted trend line. I want to see if we can break it and then continue up. But the sentiment overall is long. We're just waiting to see if market open. This is the high that I was talking about. Actually, there's another one that's close, right, to there. So if I put my resistance tool in like that, you can see, I'll leave those targets in. Let me here, there. So that, so we know what these levels are. And of course, you could draw these up like a zone if you want to when it is close. But I like these other lines instead. So there we are. And here we are. So you can see it's like climbing a flight of stairs, right? Over the swing highs. Okay. Now what we mean by the zones, right? It's how Ryan likes to do it. He'll just take these two zones, these two levels, I mean, and just turn it into a zone like that. Okay. So if you want to do it that way, you can do that as well. And then you got another one here where this is more like a zone like that. So however you want to see it, however you best see it visually, right? You can do that. Sometimes you go from wick to body. This is a little bit of a bigger zone like that, okay? So however you want to play it, that's where we are. But overall on the zero Aussie, we're bullish to we're neutral to bullish right now. Okay, we want to see a continuation up, right? The euro is gained some strength. We know the Aussie has been weak. So let's see if we can get this push up. Still didn't take out my stop loss. Thank goodness on that one. But we'll see if next week maybe we get another pullback off this reaction. Okay. And then a move up. So we'll see. Okay. If not, then we may just be in the true range while the market tries to figure it out. Then I'll make the decision if I want to close out and move on to something else, because you could get a little range bound, right? We can get a little range bound until they figure it out. So we want to watch out for that too. Okay. So neutral to bullish on the euro Aussie. We need a trend line break and a push long if we're going to continue that, or we may be sitting in the range. Do I even play this range like this? I don't even think I want to play a bottom to top to bottom on that. I'd rather just wait. In this scenario, it's over 100 pips, but I'd rather just wait for a breakout and a retest of that range. So that's where we are on the euro Aussie. Any questions? No. All righty. Well, we're gonna move on to the next euro pair. All right. So let's go to the euro CAD. Check it out. That's on a 15-minute move. And let's see overall. So euro CAD overall is strong. Okay. We're in a buy. Hold on one second, everybody. Okay, so look at euro CAD. We're looking stronger across the board for the buy. Okay, so let's look at how that sets up on our charts. So if we come to the weekly, if we come to our weekly level, you can see how this has just been, see here, there, how this has just been pushing up. We came back down to this trend line, right? So you pretty much can call it here. Okay, here. Wow. Hold on one second. right? There, okay? There, right? Didn't make it quite back there to the trend line, but it found it again here. Here, and here, okay? So if we zoom back in on that, we can see all these times where it touched it or got close to the trend line, okay? See? And now we're pushing bullish, right? Bullish, okay? It's choppy, right? But overall, it's been pushing up. Okay, so you can see how we got this spin, right? A U-turn off of it, right? Kind of like that cup, right? To the upside. So sideways a little bit, but this last candle last week was bullish, and then we came back down. So it's like a push up and then a retracement on that level. So this 151.13 is a key level, as we can see. So we go down through our daily time frame, and we can see where we're at. All right, so this is my current up AB fib, like so. Hold on. Okay, so this is our up AB boundary. So we've got an AB boundary here. Broke our inner trend line. We've got an AB boundary. Here's our C between our 61.8 and our 786 level. And now you can see how price has been pushing up. Okay, so you can see how you've got a nice bullish candle here, this wick. See that? How that pushed off that level. Bullish candle here, we push sideways, push down, and then back up. So we're kind of neutral right here at this level from a daily perspective. So if we go down to the 1, because what I did was I took this 1 hour fib, like so. I traced over it. Okay. This is a choppy condition, but this is the most accurate price action right now that I can get with the fib. And then I linked it down. So when you come to the 1, this is what that move looks like on a 1 hour chart. Okay. Well, here we go. So this is what we look like. So you got this AB boundary off the daily, and then we're just tracking it, right? We're just tracking it. So here's the latest move, okay, off this trend line. So that's the same trend line projected down. Does everybody see that? You just move it down through the time frames from the top down to the time frame that you like to trade, okay? So here's the move. So we're still above this uptrend line here. And when the market closed, we were pushing bullish. All right. So we were pushing bullish off that trend line. So right now I'm long on the Euro CAD. Okay. Now, if you're not in this yet, right, you can see crowns start to happen everywhere. You guys see this level here? That's a swing high. It was taken out. So if you're not already in on this trade, a good place to target, right, is that previous support level, or what we like to call the left tip of the crown. Okay, so we come here like so, and we can say that price broke the trend line, number 1. Okay, so 1. All right, price breaks the trend line. 2, it takes out the A, which is this is our ABCD move, right? How does the market go? A, B, C, D. But when you get a reversal, a lot of times that projected D extension that you may have, right, may not finish out because price reversed. So if we pull this here like that, okay. A, B, C, this would be your D, but you got the price reversal. So price, if this technically would finish out at the D, right, our C becomes our new A. Our D becomes our new B if this hit that extension, but you get a price reversal. So that's why we like to say price takes out the A because it would have. That's another way of saying price takes out a key level of resistance. Okay, so it takes it out. So now look, okay, now you can kind of project that, hey, once this level of resistance was taken out, we know price likes to pull back. Okay. And a good level might be this past area of support, which is our right tip, right? So it's just a cool way to find a potential level to look to buy. So if you come back, you say price takes out, breaks the trend line, price takes out the A. In essence, old C. Okay. 3. Identify the left tip. 4. Get it? 4. C. Tell the future, right? 4. C. Okay. The right tip. Because in essence, we say 4C because if this is going to be my new AB boundary, then this low price here, right? 4C, step number 4, C, 4C the future. In other words, find the C, right? Look. A, B, C, D. Potential buy, right? For a low price if we're thinking long. Okay, that's how you use it to project. Okay, just a good visual. All right, so foresee the right tip. And then 5. Okay, I'll go back up here. Okay, and 5, draw your uptrend line like so. Like this. So if price wants to come down, okay, from that B to that C level, like so, then you draw. Once you get that low, right? Because look, here's a low, here's a higher high, higher than the last high. Here's a higher low, still price action and structure, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, then you draw your uptrend line. And then if it's going to stay long, then price is going to continue like this. Like that. Okay. So that's it. That's how you can identify that, right? So on this Euro Aussie, the Euro CAD, all right. Take a snapshot of that if you want, guys. On this Euro CAD, we're still long. If you missed the initial move, my stochastic's in the sell zone. Okay, it's in the sell zone. Does that give you a small opportunity for a B to C move? Yes, right? B to C, yes. But if you're a bull and you want to just wait for the pullback on that to see if it's going to continue long, you can do that as well. So that's where we are on the Euro CAD. All right, we are looking to go long. We broke a trend line and we're waiting for a possible pullback and a potential buy, okay, at a key level. Any questions on the Euro CAD?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, I understand the initial ABCD. You know, you're working with what's existing, what's there right now. We already identified that the D, it pulls away before it actually reaches that extension. Okay, when you project forward though, how do you know what the B is again? What is? I don't see a swing high there. So how do you?
You don't have it yet. You don't have it.
Right. Yeah. So how are you projecting your B? What are you basing that off of?
When you project your B, you have to wait for a swing high. Right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you don't have it yet. So yes. This price, right? We're just forecasting about what can happen potentially in the future. So yeah, you don't have it yet, right? So this price can keep rolling if it wants to, right? This price can keep rolling and keep pushing up. You need to wait, or it can come into Sunday, and you can get hour number one, bang, hour number two, and then you've got a high there, and there's going to be a fib.
Okay.
There's going to be a fib level there, but yeah, you don't have a swing high yet, right? You don't have it like you have it here and here, right?
Yep.
So you just, so you don't have it. So you got to wait on it. You got to wait on it.
Okay, but so I'm just trying to understand your thinking as far as how you drew out that what looked like a Gartley thing or whatever it was.
The crown.
Yeah, the crown. I mean, so how did you? I'm trying to understand the logic behind what you forecast.
Oh
with
yeah. So it's just a good visual to show you, like, okay, if this price is going to pull back, where might it pull back to? Well, it might pull back to a previous level of support.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right. So that's the scenario you're looking at. So, okay, if it pulls back, then you would have a new fib. Okay, gotcha.
Yep. To that level.
Not that we have evidence to that, but we're just guessing right now.
Yes, that's it.
Gotcha.
Yep. You're just mapping it out, right? We like to say, hey, we want that trade to come to us, so we want to have our chart set up for that opportunity to come.
Got it. Okay.
Yep, for the opportunity to come. So if you're not already long on this, like, okay, when's my next opportunity gonna come? Or if you're long already, where might an opportunity come that I could potentially add to my trade? Right? Okay. That I can, you know what I mean? And then there's some people, like, if you play smaller time frames, look, I'll show you guys something, right? You want to play intraday? Look at that. You sit in front of your computer screen, right? You're a day trader on your 5 minute. That's the move, right? That's your move. You can put your stop. You can put your stop right outside your 127. Okay, you can put your stop right outside your 127 and say, you know what? I got a down AB boundary. I'm taking it. It took it out. It took out all three levels, right? So that, however you want to play it, you can play it with the fibs. It can put you in a prime time position, whether you position trade, medium term, long term, however you want to do it. You could take advantage of the price action, because whenever you get that B boundary setting up, you got a high probability of a reversal, because that new B boundary is an OD, which represents an exhaustion point. So in essence, you're getting a level of support to form there, right? A level of support. You got a support zone there, right? Just like if the A gets taken out, you just broke a level of resistance. And we know that price likes to eventually retest that zone, right? So you may get a correction there. Yeah, exactly. So it's really the same thing over and over again, that the fibs are just helping you measure, right? Measure out those waves, right? And those key zones. So even if you went here from your B boundary, that's a 101. So even if you put your stop at a 101 from the B boundary, right? You're still out of harm's way for that drawdown. And look at what happened. Right? Which typically when you're scalping, a lot of times you're 101 anyway. And you're trying to depend on strike rate. Your win percentage is over 50%, right? And then you can take money home. Right? So sometimes as soon as you get in that 1-to-1 position, you get some traders that'll start to adjust that stop. Some will move it to break even, right? Which sometimes can be dangerous because it bounces back, but you don't lose any money. But in this scenario, it just kept carrying. So you move it to break even, then you move it into profit and lock your profit in, and then you just keep riding it, right? Or you can put a trend line to the upside, right? You can put your trend line to the upside, and as long as I stay above that trend line, I stay in the trade.
Got it.
Yeah. So, good questions. Good questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So that's where we are, right? That's just that's the sentiment right now. Okay. In regards to coming off that higher time frame down is bullish. Can we get a pullback? Yes. Right? Can we get a pullback? Yes. Can it pull all the way back and take our A out? Yeah, that's just the game we play, right? There's always a level of risk involved. That's why we teach strongly that everybody needs to be aware of their risk management. Okay. We don't base our trade success off of one trade or two trades. We base it off a series of trades. Always keep that in mind. Always keep that in mind, that it's about a series of trades. One trade doesn't determine the long-term outcome unless you blow up on that one trade. Okay. So that's it for the Euro CAD. let's go through and take any other questions on that. I'm sorry, before we continue to
I
move
just have a
forward.
quick recap. So if you're doing day trading on the 5 minute, put it either outside of the 127 or 20
Yeah,
pips to be safe.
yeah, you could do because when I do it, all right. So I'm measuring, right? Sometimes it's like, man, what can I get? Like, and the pairs, because of the different ATRs on the pairs, right? The average true ranges on the pairs. So sometimes you could get it like where that 38.2 move is like 6-7 pips. It's like, all right, I'll pass on that, right? Like you have to use discretion. Like, okay, I don't want to take it. You know, I take something else, right? Because you're on a 5 minute chart. So if we go here and we look at the daily encapsulation, look at how that moved in one day, right? So you can literally do some damage day trading. Okay, so yeah, you move it. You can look and you can measure, and you can say, okay, to my 382, I'm basically a 1-to-1. So then you can put the stop at a 1-to-1. So it's like 32 pips, which puts you outside. Most of the time, the measurement from that beat boundary to that 382 will put you outside the 127. Now, when you get into the pound pairs, it can get large, right? Because of the way they move. So you may have, even on the 5 minute, it might be like 40 something pips, you know. So you have to determine that at that time, do I want to run a tighter stop loss, you know, tighter than the 1-to-1, or do I just want to drop my lot size down if I'm going to trade that, right? And just let it roll, even on the 5. So if I was going to trade this at $5 a pip, if I'm on a pound New Zealand, and that range is like 40 pips, and so if I'm doing a 1-to-1, that's 40 and 40. So maybe I'm not trading at $5. Maybe I'm trading that at $2.50, right? So 2.5 minutes. So it just depends, right? You have to figure that out what you're comfortable with, and then it's all based on the size of your account, right? On how you want to size at that position. But most of the time, it'll put you that beats to that 382 will put you outside that 127. Like I say, sometimes on those pound pairs, it'll put you like in between the 118, 127. Sometimes I've seen it, or even on the 5, where that 1-to-1 will put you like in between the B boundary and the 118, because the pair is so large with the pounds, and the price action is enormous, right? As far as the volatility. So it just depends. But yeah, you guys start, and we'll start down the line here, start even putting some signals in there on there, because we're getting people, we get inbox from all walks of life and all types of trading styles. So you may start seeing some of these. So that's it on the Euro CAD. Like even here, right? You got a decent pullback. When you're scalping, you know, it don't take much, right? Don't take much. So that's it on the Euro CAD. We'll move into the Euro Swissy. Keep grinding through these pairs, right? Beautiful move, right? So if we go and we take a look at the Euro Swiss, sell overall pretty much, because we got that daily neutral candle. So if we go to the weekly, right, you can see how it pushed back down on us, right? So it's been pushing down. We got a strong bearish candle up, and then it ended up with a neutral candle here to end the week. All right. So I mean, on a daily is what I meant to be talking about here. So you can see how we're in. Okay. This move has been pushing down. Okay. And then we've got this this price swing, which, hold on one second. Charts is kind of messing up on me, but we'll keep it where it's at right now. So we've had this price swing to the upside, but you can see the overall has been down. So this up fib that got marked was moving up to this level, and you can see it got close to this D extension and pushed back down, right? So we've got this wave to the upside, and then this strong drive back down, and it's been pushing down ever since. So the overall long drawn out move, and then we zoom in and focus on what's going on right now, right? For the type of trading that we're looking to do. So this is it, right? Where it's just been whipping around, but overall it's a push to the downside. And you can see here, you got the shallow retracement to the 236 on this daily down fib. And then look how it reversed and came back, but ultimately it pushed right back up to that 382 level. So this is what we're focused on when we go down to that 1 hour time frame right now. We want to focus in on this level. We got the strong push up, right? And now we're shorting. So come opening Sunday, this was our high candle, okay? You got 2 to the right now. Friday, this candle closed lower. So what this is going to look like is this. Bang, if you put a sub fib. And you can see prices retracing. We got a stochastic that's in the sell zone, okay? So if we bring that down to the 1, right? Promise you guys, this stuff is just the same thing over and over again. So look at this. If we wanted to run, right, our smaller fibs on the 1, it took you right to an 80-20 play. Okay, so look, down. We took out this level. Look, took out this level. Okay, we know what that looks like. I don't have to draw it again. So we took out this level. Now look at the push down. Okay, so we trade what we see. Here's the 80-20. Okay, look, push down. If I wanted to bring that daily fib, now that this price is going all the way up to the top in this trend line, to this down trend line, if I wanted to bring that down, that daily fib down, right, to go over these smaller fibs, I could, right, push you in the same scenario. But look, even off this 1 hour fib, you got a shallow retracement. Price came around at 118.27, didn't finish out, and it reversed. So we are short, just like the technicals are calling, right? The technical summary is saying we are short. Okay, so we're short to the downside. Here's TP1, TP2, TP3. So that's where we are right now. We are currently short, all right, on the Euro Swiss. All right, now, if you don't want too much, too many fibs on, you might get confused, then just use these capital fibs to the upside. Just use them as your target. You can pull them off. And once you start getting the reversal and the trend lines to break, then you can just draw your down fibs to the downside and say, you know what, I'm trading ABCDs down to my targets, like so. Okay, so that's if you find yourself getting confused visually on the charts. We know that we're in a reversal scenario. We've got our downside targets marked. Now, if you want to just pull those off, you can, right? If that confuses you a little bit, so you can just pull them off. And now you know that I'm looking to trade down, right? I'm looking to trade down. So I can even draw my trend line, right, to the downside. I'm in this trade. This is a successful trade right now, right? Speaking generally, okay? So if I'm talking to myself, I'm in this trade, I'm to the downside. I put me a downtrend line on here. I use blue. And now I'm just riding the waves down to TP1, ABCD, ABCD. You may get some consolidation. Some of your retracements are going to be higher. Some of them are going to be more shallow. But at the end of the day, we don't get caught up in all that. We're looking for this target. We're looking for this target. Okay. So now you're in a situation where you might pull your stop down a little bit. Okay, if you want to do that, or you might leave it up here until you get to your target. However you want to play it, you play it. The key is that you got the direction right. That's the most important thing, is we got the direction right, right? Lowest point, 60 pips, finished out Friday. Yeah, close to 60 pips. All right, so we're getting close to that TP1. So right now we're short on the Euro Swiss because price is retracing, right? But we know that you've got the potential fundamentally over the long term, okay, to where once this finishes out, there's a possibility over the long term for that to continue long, right? The Swissy is safe haven. It's a safe haven. Risk on, right? Over the long term, we know that the Swissy is going to keep that interest rate low. We know that the Euro economy is strengthening. We all got this X factor with the Delta variant, so things are changing faster than they normally do in the market in regards to risk on, risk off situations. But over the long term, this just may be a pullback. It may be a deep one, and then a continued long. But right now, we're trading what we see, right? So if you go down to the 1, to the 5, you can see, right? You can see the reversal and a pullback and then a move back down on the short. Okay, so if you zero in on the price action, you can get results off your 5 minute too. Okay, so That's that on a Euro Swissy. Any questions? So overall, right, we are looking to continue down to that target. And we are 34 pips away. No questions? We taking good notes today, right? Drop me a 1 in the chat. We're taking good notes. Somebody let me know. I know I'm not just talking to myself. Awesome.
Hey, Benny, real quick.
Yep.
Wendolson, you can ask the question, man.
All right, I know that we're all trying to play this as a business, and I know Shauna asked the question before about trying to set up LLCs, but I've been reading a lot of stuff about doing S corps and taxation. You could do a section 899 or a section 1256. So I was wondering if you guys were ever going to, or if you're planning to talk about anything like that. Or...
Yeah.
We reached out to some people, right?
Yeah, we're working on getting some folks to come on and chat with us about it. What I can tell you is just from my personal experience, my personal knowledge and research. Now, I'm not a CPA, right? I'm not a CPA, but setting up an LLC is a good idea. Going the S corp route, it is only valuable or beneficial tax wise once you reach $50,000 a year, right? That's when you start to see some of the minimal tax benefits of the S corp. So just setting up a traditional single member LLC is sufficient, and it's pretty simple to do that. Also, getting that registered with the state that you're in. You can do a quick Google and find out the website that you need to do that. You don't need to pay anybody to set up your LLC for you. It's pretty simple. And you don't need to pay anybody to register it with the state. Those steps are pretty simple if you just follow the steps on the state's website. And then the recommendation is you have to find, not all banks open accounts with for traders, right? They see it as a risky environment. So you have to find a bank that is okay with you being a trader and depositing funds for your trading account into that business account. A lot of times your larger banks will do that. Your national banks and your regional banks, your PNC banks, those sorts of things. Your smaller credit unions, sometimes they may or may not allow those types of accounts to be set up. But setting up a basic business account, and the recommendation is just initiating the relationship with the bank. So set up the bank account, deposit whatever the minimum amount is, and then just regularly deposit an amount, whatever that is, into that account. So you're building the relationship with the bank. Now, when it comes to tax purposes, right? Initially, if you're already pulling profit, right, that profit is going to be taxed at a regular tax rate, right? When you do your taxes, you'll say, I'm sole proprietor business currently, right? Unless you set that up sometime soon before the end of the year, then you can, put it all under the LLC. But if you don't have that set up before the end of the year, you'll just be taxed at your regular tax rate for sole proprietorship. Once you get the business set up and you start to move things through the business, there are lots of tax breaks and opportunities from that perspective when it comes to taxes as you start to build that account. So that's what I'll leave that at that for now, because we can get really deep into this conversation when it comes to tax breaks, benefits of LLCs, and how you can maneuver some of those things. So I'll leave it right there right now. I would say, yes, it would be valuable for you to set up an LLC, register with the state of Michigan or with the state that you're in, and open a bank account with a bank and just initiate that relationship and start to move your things through that. And we will be having somebody on. We're just working to identify the right person to come on and have that conversation with you guys. We have reached out to a few individuals who are waiting on their responses and then working on scheduling. So, but we will be having a deeper conversation about that.
Okay, I'll probably hit you up on Tuesday because I already have an LLC set up.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, we can we can chat independently about some of the other questions.
Juan
Okay.
Wilson, tell him you backing the truck up to the bank, man.
I'm trying to get like you.
Well, they better open that account. What are you thinking? I got the truck out back. Anyway. Good question. Thanks, Ryan.
No doubt.
All right.
Hey, Benny, if you're talking, bro, you're muted.
Oh, my bad. My bad. All right. So here we go. Thanks, Ryan. So on the weekly time frame, it looks like we're just kind of just ranging, right? We got this push down and then we're just moving sideways. Okay. We close lower, right? At the end of the week, we close lower than the previous week. Okay. So that push down, we got a little bit of rejection. You see that wick to the downside. So if we come into the daily, all right, we're in this scenario with the Euro GBP where we've been tracking this down move with a down fib, and we have not gotten that 382 retracement on this down fib. So we've got a down AB boundary. We got a shallow retracement to a 236. Price is broken again, broken to be boundary, broken here first. And now we're pushing back up. Our stochastic is almost back into the buy zone. So just keep in the back of your head that we haven't gotten this 382 to the upside, and we pressed up against this and we broke the trend line. So again, we zoom in to see if there's any opportunity based on real time where we are right now. So we've got a rejection off the sideways, push off the trend line, and then down. Okay. And we know from the weekly that we closed lower than we did the previous week. So we can see that, right? We can see that there. So we broke through these levels of support. Okay, which that was your last one. We broke it, didn't close above it, below it, I mean, and then here again, we finally closed below this level. So if we go down to the one, we can zoom in and we can take a look at where we are, right? Here's the up fib from the daily, right, that I drew, pressing up to that trend line area, right? Which I can't stand how these trend lines adjust when you bring them down. But it is what it is. But this is that trend line area, and you can see. Can I pull it? Yeah, it's be more like that. But we see how this push up to the trend line, right? So you're looking at this daily fib here that I brought. So right here, okay. Just draw it so that people that use Smart Trader can see it there. All right. So you click at the bottom, you can see that it pushed back up against this trend line and then it reversed. That's where I got that plate from. So all I did was traced over this fib and pulled it down to the one, just like we've been doing throughout. And you can see that, look, it reversed. Okay. So we've been short. So if you're short on this, good deal. Now your lower time frames, okay, is telling you buy. That makes sense because look, we're at a down, right? We got this down AB. We got a new AB boundary form. We should expect a pullback. We should expect a pullback first. And then if it wants to continue, it's going to continue to push up and eventually break this trend line. But you can see that already on the reversal play, because we mapped it out, right? We got the direction right. We came, we broke down, and we got that 382 target. And then here's TP2. Right? We're up against this outer trend line and we'll see how price reacts. So right now, okay, we'll see what happens as this price pulls back. So I took this down to the 382. I'm done with the setup. I know that I'm at an outer trend line and I want to see if this has the potential, right, to climb its way back up. I want to see how it reacts once we get back into the zone. And then if it continues short, then I'll look to get back in on this particular play. That's how I play it, okay? Because we got a good, nice impulse move to the downside after this break of this inner trend line. And look at these levels. So if you look at it horizontally, look how it was ranging, okay? You had this spot here, okay? Look, here, right? You had an area back here, okay, of demand, and it came out of that zone and pushed up. So when we got a strong impulse move that finally broke that level, I'm good on the 382. I want to see how it reacts back to the upside, and then I'll make my mind up how to play it from that point. If you zoom out on this here, okay, you got a 382 on this already, right? You got a 382 on this already. So I'm interested to see how this plays. My stochastic is back in the sell zone, so it may push lower. But when I start seeing this strong impulse move to the downside, and then we start pushing sideways, hit this outer trend line, right? We're moving sideways, I got out, close it out on Friday. So just notice it's kind of a wait and see. It may push down, right, to TP2, and it may push up. We'll see, because coming into the Asian session, you may get a sideways push on this on Sunday, and then we'll see where price wants to break out. So that was the play on that one, and I'm kind of in a wait and see. You can see how we got, look, the market's in a wait and see. You got to sell on 2 levels and you got to buy on the other 2, right? So down, right? A down retracement, right? Think of it like that. So we'll see if price retraces, and then we'll see how it reacts once it gets into the zone. Any questions on that? So if you hadn't been in on this one, kind of waiting, it's pushing sideways. It's probably going to push sideways coming into the Asian session where there's lower liquidity and volume. So any questions? No? All right. So that was a good play. So let's go to our next pair, which is the EJ. And if you come up here real quick, you look, and it's just neutral, right? Higher time frames neutral, then you got shorts. So let's take a look at it, right? Come up here, okay? Closed out, got a down push right off the support level. Nice reaction off the support level. And then we closed out the week where it took back the previous week's gains pretty much. But look here, this level is important, right? Here. The level is important. So if we go to the daily, okay, hash it out, look. So we're here. You got to pull back on this downfield, okay? So if we zoom this out over the long term, and you'll see why I have these lines here in a minute, that you got this long impulse move to the upside, right? Everybody see that? Long impulse move to the upside. So if you drop our fibs, we had up fibs moving, okay? You had a 80-20 play, shallow retracement. Look, shallow retracement, less than a 382, and then a push up. Rejected off our monthly at 134, but look, it's coming right back down. It's coming right back down. So that's a beautiful play there. And we're not quite at that level yet. This line here is this D extension off this subfield, okay? So I'm thinking here to this D extension, and then continuing down to our 382 level, right? So I want this to stay short, is what I'm looking at. So you can see here how we've got this downtrend line, okay? And price is starting to pull back, all right? So we'll see how far it wants to go. Again, here's that scenario, right? Here's that scenario. This is more of a head and shoulders play, where this is more equal ground. See that? See here? Look, here's the difference, okay? You see how you came to this resistance level? And even though you got wicks here, how it closed back below that level, okay? That's more of an even neckline, okay? That's more of an even neckline. So what you want to target is, we want to take it short, is what I'm thinking. But you got a potential for this play here, right? Trade what we see. Trade what we see. See, look, okay? Squeeze this, like that. Come here, like so. Okay, like that. Okay, so you see how this neckline is even. You got your wicks, but it didn't close above that level. That's an important level. Whereas when you have your crown, right? When you have your crown prices, right? So good lesson for today. Okay, so it's still that ABCD type move, right? To the downside. But look, when you have a crown, that crown price action takes out this level. See here, right? It takes out that level. So you don't have an even neckline. It got broken before it pulls back, like so. Can you guys see that? See how that held there? That's your traditional head and shoulders. Because I know people are wondering, like, what's the difference? That's the difference. This level of structure held. Now you're pulling back to a right shoulder. This level didn't get taken out. See how price on the crowns, it likes to explode through that level of resistance that would otherwise be your neckline for your head and shoulders. Okay, but we didn't get that. Price U-turn right at that level. Okay, so make sure you guys write that down for the day. There is a difference. Okay, so we have to pay attention when we see these patterns. So even though my initial bias is like, man, we didn't get that 382 yet, I got an 80-20 play playing out to the downside. We have to pay attention to this level. Okay, so price comes down, our stochastic is in the sell zone. We want to pay attention to this level here first. Okay, in addition to smaller levels that you may see on a one, we want to pay attention to this level first, and then secondary is that continuation to the downside. So we know that if price pushes through this level here, then the pattern fails, which is fine. The pattern will fail. But we just want to be aware that we have the potential of a head and shoulders at that level and then a push up. Okay, so it may long term eventually get back down to this 382 level, but we got some patterns forming here in this range type setup here. It's failing to break out completely. So we want to be focused on that. We want to be focused on that. So if I come here and I add another black line at this level, just so we could take it down, okay? Or we could do that. We can also, we can link that down, and then we can also
buy limit.
You can.
Buy limit or
you can.
Of that left shoulder.
The right shoulder.
Right,
The right
yeah.
shoulder. Yep.
Mhm.
You can. Just be aware, right, that it can continue down, right? And that's just the risk you take. That's just, hey, we're traders, right? We're traders.
Right.
Either it works out or it doesn't, right? Or you could use confirmation, right? So if we move back down to like our one, okay, look at that, right? Guys, it doesn't get any better than this, right? So even off the 1 hour fib, we're already headed in that direction. You guys see how beautiful this could be? Look. It's the same thing, right? So at this current pace, if it pushed down, then you're getting somewhere around that 8.6 and deeper, right? You're getting close, but that's on your 1 hour fib. If I take it, because we're looking at fibs are used with patterns in its completion form. So from the low to the high, okay? Look at that, right? Look at that. See that pushing down? So now if we use this, right? If we use this, right, we'll pull it right down into that 61.8 area. Okay. Drop me a 2 in the chat if you think that's pretty cool. I do. I don't know. I'm a trade geek though.
Benny, I have a question.
Sure.
So I know I'm using my mom's account at the moment because for whatever reason, it's just not working. But we're trying to get that sorted out. So I had marked EJ yesterday, and on the daily time frame, unless this isn't a true King's Crown, but I had drew a bigger King's Crown on there, and then I saw that you drew the inverted head and
Head and
shoulders.
shoulders.
Yeah.
Yep. So you drew it like this, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly how I drew it.
That's fine too. It's putting you in the same scenario, isn't it? To the
Yeah, I was
downside.
just about to say I got the
Yeah.
same analysis.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that, right? You got this taken out, right?
Mhm.
You got this taken out here. Okay. All right. Okay. So you're somewhere around in that area like this.
Yeah,
Right?
that's exactly how mine looks. Yeah.
Yeah. And you pulled it. Look, it puts you in the same scenario.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Here's the thing, guys. What I want you guys to understand when we're trading this, right? Thanks for pointing that out. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
The markets aren't random. They're not, especially in the Forex market. You guys see as we move through these pairs, like you've seen what happened with all the Aussie pairs and how many crowns there were. The markets aren't random. Okay. Right. And we like to say that success isn't a fantasy, it's a formula. Okay. But it's not random. That's a beautiful setup. Thank you. So it's not random, guys. Okay. Especially the Forex market is pattern driven. Okay. But most of your known patterns are based off of Fibonacci ratios. That's why you could draw them out so smoothly on the smart trader, and it's telling you, right, head and shoulders 99.2%. Like it's telling you that, right? Because it's all based off of the ratios anyway. Okay, so that's where we are on that. So if you've been in this right last week, congrats, you're short on that, right? Let's see if it stays short. Okay, you can start running your fibs on the 1 hour from the top if you wanted to, right? And you see, look at that. That's a beautiful, right? That's a beautiful pullback. Okay. That's a beautiful, what? Hold on. I think I moved the wrong thing. Okay. So that's a beautiful pullback. Look, trend line break, pull back to almost a 61.8 level, and then back down. Okay. So the key is identifying the reversal point, and then we're off to the races. If you come down to the 5, right? See if I can get this off here on the 5. Right? Look at that. If you're trading that on the 5, look at that reversal. Okay. Right? There's an even bigger play. And then look, boom. See that? That's on the 5 minute, right? It holds true no matter what the time frame. It just depends on how fast you want to move in the time that you have, right? That's why we teach it from the top down. Swing trading, scalping, whatever, right? But look at that. We know that from trading the higher time frames. You get a key level, your capital fib hit a key level with a new, right? A sub fib, new AB boundary at a key level in your sell zone. Look at the reversal, right? So, all right. Markets don't have to be scary. You just need a system. You just need a system that you do over and over and over again. So that's the Euro JPY. Any other questions?
No, I just wanted to make a comment. I'm happy you showed that because I was usually getting out when they'd had the reversals for the long on that dip, and then I'd sit and watch.
I got you.
And I would sit and watch it keep going down. I'd be like, man.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like even if you're tracking these, right? So you could have found yourself in a reversal here because it's a new AB boundary. That's the basic. And then if you're trading with the trend to the downside, right, you're at a high price. That's the beautiful thing about smart trader. It calls out the zones for you, right? And if you guys notice, I don't know if you notice the subtlety, but you see how this is almost 50-50, right? Your sell zone, right? And then your down push zone, red and yellow. If you ever notice, sometimes it's not always equal. Sometimes it's way up here and only 30-40% of it will be considered a sell zone. So it does the math. The algorithm does the math for you in regards to what's the highest probability sell zone or buy zone for that matter. So you don't always see it with an even split. It may be a deeper zone, right? Or a higher zone, right? For a sell. Okay. So just pay attention to that when you're using your fibs. But that's the EJ. So let's take out the euro, check out the euro NZD. And we can see that we got a sell, buy, just like up here, right? Right. So you can kind of start to train your mind on what to look for when you see that going on. So we go up here to our weekly. Okay. Look at that. All right. We see that. We see these levels, right? Even through charts that aren't as clear, sideways pushes, they eventually make a move. The candlesticks will tell you the story. It's the sign language of the Forex market, right? It'll tell you the story, or any market for that matter, if you're using candlesticks to trade with. So we can see the range. It was just ranging. Look at how strong this weekly candle was to the upside, right? But look, boom, right at that 171.24. Didn't go no further. It engulfed, these two candles here, right? 3 candles, really. 4 candles, really. 5, right? Engulfed them. But look, stalled right there. It's not random. And then look at the price get pushed down. Okay. So then we go, it broke through some levels here. It closed here below this level, barely. And then look, they're trying to figure out which way they want to go now. Back up into the range or down. Okay. So look, sell, buy, right? So look, you finish the neutral candle, indecision, we come to the daily, and look at where we are. You got a pullback to a 61.8 right up against a monthly resistance level. And then look at the push, right? There's that sideways consolidation again. There's that break of those levels from the daily. And then look, we got a stochastic in the buy zone. So when you go through your lower time frames, you'll start to see exactly what it's trying to do. It went long because look, it pushed back up. It pushed back up. But this one here, right? We got the euro tagged against the New Zealand. The euro is strong, but that New Zealand has been on the tear, right? So we got the stochastic back in the sell zone on this one, right? So we may never know, may get a push back up to this trend line and see how it reacts. But right now, this target here, because we saw on the weekly chart where that previous week candle closed below that support level, right? It closed below that support level, broke it and closed below it, and then we ended up neutral. I'm still thinking, even if we get a high push here, I would like to call that bearish, right? Bearish to the downside. So yeah, it's pushing up. That's why the lower time frames is calling it long, because of what happened here, right? But at the end of the day, look, we got that long arc, but then we still making look low, created a new low. It's pushing up. It's just going to be a lower high and then a continuation down. So I'm not really looking to trade that right now. If you're not already in it short, not looking to trade it, I would like to see some sort of completion, for it to decide what it wants to do, or if a strong break back up to the upside, which I don't know is going to happen. We'll see on that one. So it's kind of a wait and see. What you do on the 5-minute, right? Has some lower time frame plays. It's amazing, isn't it? Right? If you just follow the fibs and the price action. Okay. There was a play right there. Okay. There was a play right there. Okay. So kind of a wait and see, right? We know if it continues down from here, it's going to take this out and continue to press down to that D extension. And then, right, it may push back up, go back to the 1. It may push back up to that trend line, and then we'll see what type of reaction we get there. Okay. Here's a little key, guys. When you're on and you're trading and you're working with trend lines, okay, something to just train your mind on. If you ever see a trend line get touched and it rejects like that, and then you get a bearish close right after that. You guys see this bearish candle that took out this candle here, this candle and this candle? Take the short, right? If you're day trading and you see that, take the short. Take the short. That's a high probability setup. That's just one of those things that you just learn and know. Look, see that press? It rejected. Bearish candle close. Take the short. Put your stop up above this level, right? If you're looking for a quick trade setup, put your stop up above that level and short it. All right. That's how you can play price action off the trend line. All right. Okay, any questions on the Euro NZD? So it's kind of just like the one last pattern we saw where it was two levels that were buying and next two levels were selling. It's kind of a wait and see. You're kind of in between if you're not already active in the short position on this trade. Okay. We want to trade at levels that make sense. We want to trade at levels that make sense overall, right? Okay, and then just wanted to drop that little nugget in there with trend lines. But especially if you see it push up, you see a move, and you see it all the time where you will see a move push up to a key fib level somewhere in between there like that. If you see price break that trend line and it closes bearish, take the shot. Take the shot at that trade. Use proper risk management, take the shot at the trade. All right, so that's where we are with that. And if there's no questions on the Euro NZD, we're going to move on to the Euro USD. All right, so let's take a look at the Euro USD. And you got neutral, right, from your higher time frames, and then we got short positions on the lower time frame. So we go to our Euro USD, take a look at the weekly, and we can see, right? We remember playing this move to the downside. We remember that, right? We were in and out of buys and sells to the downside, right? Taking advantage of the counter trend moves. Beautiful. Now we're in this range, right? 119 and 116. We're in between this range. All right. You got a level that got broken there. The price has since returned up, but at the end of the day, you're at the top of this range now. It's calling it neutral. We can see that last week pretty much took out the previous week's gains. Hold on one second. Okay, so that's why I was calling it neutral. You come to the daily, right? It's kind of calling it the same thing, but look at this, all right? Here's that down push that we took advantage of weeks back, all the way down. But look, we don't have that 382 target hit. Stochastic is in the sell zone. Okay, you got another potential scenario, right? I know you guys see that pattern. Now, you see it. You see it. Look, here, we reject it. Okay, come back up. Okay, and now back down, potentially. All right. Like so. Okay, so this trade, what we see. So if we know we've got this down AB fib that hasn't quite reached the 382 yet, we can mark that. Okay, so we first see that, right? That's what we've been building upon from the beginning. Now we start to put the case together in the different scenarios. Okay, so we can link that down. So we've got that 382 marked. Now, right now though, okay, we're in that situation where we can kind of trade what we see, okay, in the near term. And we know right now, in order to get back to this trend line, we had to push up. We had to get that bullish move, right? So everybody knew that, hey, we got a bullish move here, right? We got a bullish move here. So you got a head and shoulders here, right? You got a level here as far as a crown where this got taken out, okay? This pattern got taken out. This level here exploded. We know it likes to come back and likes to retest. Where can it possibly retest? Right back in the zone. So we got a couple levels that we want to pay attention to. See, look, okay. Price action and the patterns. Look, okay. This zone here, and then look, if you come here, this zone here. See? So here, larger scale, okay, you've got what? A head and shoulders type scenario that puts you in the same situation. Here, you got a crown type scenario. Okay, so we'll go down to the 1 and check it out. And these are just things that helps. They're not the be all to end all, but it just helps you to narrow your focus and focus on certain things in the market that are happening, certain levels that are being taken out, certain levels that are being retested. That's the good thing about being able to see the patterns, right? We know that fundamentally, right? We watch the videos, right? Here's a level of resistance that was taken out right here. The bulls scored a point, then they like to come back, okay? So look at that, And then we know that we didn't get this 382. Our stochastic is in the sell zone. So let's see how far this price wants to push down, right? See it? Gotta see it. So look, we come down to the 1 and we look at this scenario, right? We know we've got the larger head and shoulders that was here, potentially, okay? But it's putting you in the same zone, okay? So here's that daily fib ran up that we brought down, and we're short on that. So look, we know where the head and shoulders was, okay? Know where our head and shoulders look was, like this, okay? Okay. We know where that look was, all right? Can I get that perfect on this level? Hold on. Should have brought the 1 down from the daily. Hold on. Let's see what I'm doing wrong, because I'm not using the right tool. So here, all right? We know it's in this zone, like so, okay? All right, somewhere in there, all right? Like that, okay? But then if we zoom in, we see how explosive this level got taken out, which is a major level, and how price pushed up, okay? And we could be looking at the potential for it to make its return all the way back, right, to that level, okay? So if you come here, like this, look, just key levels to pay attention to, okay? See that? Okay. Key levels. This tells you that these are key areas that price might want to make its way back to. Okay. So now back to the price action. That just gives us confirmation that what? We're down, right? Do you need all of it? No. It just gives you certain targets to keep your eyes on, right? When you look left on the chart, certain levels. So look, we're down. We're moving down. So again, once again, right? In the last weeks prior, we've gotten the direction right. The direction is right. Number 1, direction. So now this price is moving down. So even if I took this and moved it to the side, you got your targets marked. We can all see clearly, right, that we are short on this pair, right? We are short to the downside. TP1 is there already. TP2 is going to be right around this zone as your D extension, but it'll eventually push the TP2 probably. Okay. So that's where we are. And then if we want to get those levels, right, it shouldn't surprise us because we saw the patterns if this continues to push down even further. Okay, if it decides to push down even further. So you can put your different levels in if you're trading on the 1, your different support levels on down, swing low, swing low, swing low, swing low, swing low. That's what those are. Okay, so look, we're pushing down. So congrats if you're in that trade short, right? Off the prior week's markups and things like that. Okay. Any questions on a Euro USD? Oh, you're welcome, Brittany. Just saw that. All right. So just trying to show you guys how, because I know a lot of times when there's a lot of education out there and you kind of try to pull it together. One time you may see a YouTube video or something on baby pips or something like that. talking about maybe a moving average or support resistance or maybe a trend line, or then I'm looking at this video and they're talking about patterns, price action patterns. What we're trying to do is show you guys where the conversion points are with a lot of those things, right? Where those things come together and how you can plan and run your technical analysis for it to bring you to those key points. So sometimes when you're just getting it in bits and pieces, you're like, this stuff is all over the place. I don't get it, right? But sometimes it's just good to be able to see where it all comes together, that conversion point, right, on the charts, and where it all makes sense, right? Am I clear on that? Everybody get me on that? I don't know. I hope I'm making myself clear. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I broke my set broke up a little bit. I know I heard somebody say something.
I said it makes sense.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, so that's where we are on the Euro USD. We're looking short until the market tells us otherwise, right? Our stochastic on a 1 hour is is oversold, right? Is at 0. So we may see some pullback and then a continuation down. We'll see. But so far, so good on that play. Our stochastic on the daily is still in the sell zone. So we may see some pulling back and then a continuation down on that. All right, so keep an eye on that Euro USD, see if we can get a further downside push on that. All right, and then it all depends on the crazy wacky dollar. So that's it on the euro pairs. Any questions in general on the euro pairs before we move on? We're gonna go into the pounds and then we're gonna wrap some things up. Yep, definitely stay in the trainings, watch the videos, and then spend some time on your charts. Yeah, okay, no questions. All right, so let's head into and take a look at some of the pound pairs, and then we will close things out for today. So let's go take a look at the pound Aussie. All right, so if you look at the trading, if you look at the investing.com site, you can see on our pound Aussie, right, we've got a strong buy pretty much. The daily we got neutral, but overall we're looking long. So we come to the weekly, okay, we can see that this has been pushing up, right? We can see it. Look at that trend line, how strong that price is held. Okay, so look, it rejected off that level again and pushed up. So now we've hit a key level, okay, and we pulled back off that level.
Benny, your audio went out.
Yeah, you hear me? Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we can see that we've pushed up, okay, and now we're pulling back, right? We're pulling back. So we're bullish right now, and we'll see if this is going to continue, right? So if you look at this zone here, okay, if you just draw this out as a zone coming straight across, guys, you see where we are, and you see that you're getting that reaction, right? Hasn't formed from a weekly perspective. It hasn't formed a swing low yet, right? Because it's weeks at a time. Each candle represents a week, but you can see where it's coming in contact with past support becoming, past resistance becoming future support at that level. Okay, so if we move down through the zones, we can see where you do have structure there with a swing low, right, on the daily, okay, at around the 50% range, and now we've been pushing up. So overall we're bullish. It's just a matter of when, hey, it's going to keep moving up, and then when do we get that pullback, and then a continuation if it wants to continue long. So if we go down to our okay, go down to our 1 hour time frame, this is one that we drew up last week that we got a correction almost to the 382, and then it exploded back up, right? So my TP1 target was hit because I always put it right before the key fib level, but we technically didn't get a 382. All right. So I'm interested to see going into next week, everybody, on this one. Here's that trend line break, right? Here's that trend line break. Reversal, think reversal, think back. Where could it pull back to? Key levels, right? See where it's going to pull back to, in addition to your fib levels. Structure, support, resistance, price action, dress it up with the fib to measure the move. So let me clear this out because this was us marking this up last week. Okay. So it's kind of bouncing around on us. Well, we technically haven't gotten exactly that 382. Our daily stochastic is in the sell zone. So we may get that push back down, right? We may get that push back down. Okay. So this is one to keep an eye on. So, you know, you got it just about to the 382, didn't quite get there. Now it's pushing up around that 118, 127 zone. So maybe potentially look for this to make its way back down. Okay. This would be nice. And then because we're overall thinking long on that pound Aussie, because that Aussie is weak, right? Then we're thinking maybe we can continue. So if you're a bull on this, then just wait for your low price. See if you can get your low price, okay? And you have to be disciplined, right? If you're a bull and price just continues up, and put that back later. If price continues up and hits the D extension after this shallow retracement, then that's okay. Just wait for the next fib to form, right? So if you're a bull, yeah, it pushed up and you're a bull and you missed it, so what, right? If it doesn't meet your rules in regards to the level of retracement that you needed to be at, that discounted price, then you wait for the next fib and see if you can get that discounted price that you want. But if a trade doesn't meet your rules, then you don't take the trade, okay? Then you don't take the trade. So right now, we are still in that range to where this price could come back down for a deeper retracement. So if you're looking to potentially play this, now I can't get that line out of there. Oh well. If you're looking to potentially play this, then you can say, okay, now it's pushed up around that 118, 127 zone. It may push further. So what you could do is you could either on a 1 or come down to like your 15, and you could just play. You can use the extra added confirmation with a trend line break. Okay, so either a trend line break planted conservatively, where this trend line here gets broken, or if you want to draw your inner trend line like so to the upside, right? Just like that. Okay. And try to play the short that way, which is stop up above the high. Okay. And that's an aggressive trend line there. All right. If you like doing that, run a high risk to reward with your tight stop. Keep in mind that if you were to play something like this, the pound Oz is going to open on Sunday with a ridiculous, stupid spread. Okay. In the Asian session. So you're gonna have to wait until, if you were to play a move like this, you got to wait until the spreads normalize. Okay, don't open it up Sunday and then jump in it straight, as your spread's going to be enormous. All right. Okay. Any questions on that pound Aussie? Nope. All right. So that's where we are. Okay, that's where we are on the pound Aussie. Right in line with the technical summaries. Bullish overall, but we may be retracing. Okay, so keep an eye on that. Take a look at the pound CAD. We should be bullish on this pound CAD. Yeah, pound CAD is looking strong to the upside. Okay, so all time frames looking long, right? We can see how this week ended out. Nice bullish candle. Okay, we're getting towards the key level here. Okay, I'll move it up to this one now, because that one was broken. So we can move it up to this level, take that down. So we're looking at least push back up to this 176 level. Okay, you can see that previous candle wicked out there. So that's what it looks like from the weekly. If we go to our daily, okay, you can look at how this has been pushing up, but you can see, look, it's just been in a crazy range, right? That pound CAD has been in a crazy range. So through all the mess is bullish. So we move down to the 1, right? So this is just price action and structure, right? Horizontal support and resistance, and you can just look at where it's at. Okay, you could draw a fib here, right? You start coming across, and then look at that mess. See, so sometimes you just play the structure. Okay, you can just play the structure and find the most recent low point and run it like this if you want to, because it's been, and that's not even working because it's been such a long drawn out move. So you'll find it. You can find a bullish move on the 1 out of this mess here. But this is just pushing sideways in the zone, okay? So sometimes I just like to keep it straight support and resistance and trend lines. So if you come down to the 1, right? The bottom of that leg, just like I said, you can come find it here. And we saw this, right? So last week when we were talking about the pound CAD, this is one of those ones where we were doing a harmonic lesson on, right? So if you go here like this, X to A to B, okay? And then C to D, okay? Look at that, bang, on the reversal, right? We talked about that last week, and you can see we're long. So right with the technical summary, having it as a strong buy, our technicals took it, our technicals on our chart took us to the same conclusion that we're long on this pound CAD. So what we're looking for now, is that if you're not on this, in this trade, okay, you never buy at a high price. Based on the pullback, we're expecting a 1.618 D extension. So if I take this off here, and let's come back up out of this, and we're looking at this move right now. We got a 786. So D extension 1.27, which is right here. Okay, it's right here at this level, like that. So if I link that down to the 15, so if you're saying, okay, I'm a bull, the stochastic is in the sell zone, you can wait, see if you can get a pullback on the 1, or you may say, hey, I'll drop down to the 15 and see if I can get a pullback on this leg. So here, like so. That's a D extension that just finished out. So eventually when this market opens, right, on your 15-minute chart, if you get 2 15-minute candles, 30 minutes, right, to the right of this that are lower than the center wick high, you're going to have a new fib. Okay, you're going to have a new fib. And then you can see if you can get a pullback to a discounted price and then try to take it long to this D extension off the 1 hour. That's the only way that I would play that at this point, is wait for price to pull back. Okay, so you need a pullback into your zone on a new fib that forms, and then you can look to continue up if you're going to hold a bullish bias on the pound CAD for right now. All right, so if you look and you come here on your 5, right, you can see different opportunities there, right? Different opportunities there. Here's one here, B to C, back down, and then you got this reversal here where you haven't gotten that pullback yet, but you just might, based off of what we just talked about. So you might get a short back to the downside. So we'll see. All right, so no matter what the time frame, you can make it work. All right, any questions on the pound CAD? All right, nothing in the chat. Pound Swissy, let's take a look at it. How do you get to the technical analysis quotes on investing.com? Okay, yep. So you come here, and when you get to the main site, it'll have all of these tabs. Just click on technical, and then you click, you can do indicators, but you go to technical summary. Right there, they even got candlestick patterns and stuff like that, Fibonacci calculator, all types of stuff. But I just go to technical summary, you click on it, and then what I do is I come here and then I just customize what pairs I want to look at, right? You can do up to 18 pairs. So today I did the pound, the euros, and the Aussies, okay? And then I lined them up. And if you sign up for a free account and you have a login, then it'll actually save this portion for you until you change it, right, yourself. right? So you can go to customize, and if I wanted to go in and put in different pairs, like my New Zealand pairs, I can do that, right? Or my CAD pairs, I can do that. Okay. So that's how that works. Mr. Customize button. Yep. So you hit customize like so, and you can put it right however you have your chart set up. Some people might only want to do the daily, the hourly, 15 and the 5, however you do it, right? So I line it up exactly how I have my charts, and then you plug them in. You can type them in right here. So it won't let me because I got too many. I got all 18. I'm 18 to 18. I have to eliminate one. But then after you put in your pairs, you hit apply, and then it'll generate the report for you. You can even have it emailed to you, right? Where'd that go? There's typically, hold on. Maybe if I get out of this part. I'll get out of this part here and come down. I don't know what happened to it. Usually they'll have a an option in here where you can like kind of get the report sent to you if you ever wanted to do that. I don't need it, but that's just a cute little feature that they have. So that's how you do that. So we take a look at the pound Swissy. We can see that we've got strong buy, sell, right, on a lower time frame. So we can see it's clearly like this has been moving up, right? And so if we go to the weekly, look, buy, right? So you kind of got this bullish type formation here, your flag, right? Okay, like that, right? Just good price action patterns, right? Breakout pattern, right? So see if we can continue upwards in a breakout, okay? But right now, you push down and then it's been going up. So 1, 2, 3, we finished kind of neutral, but we actually closed above the previous week's candle. See that? See how we closed above the previous week? So long, right? Thinking long. If you come here, we've got a Fibonacci sequence situation on the daily where we don't quite have that 382 yet, right? But price is in the sell zone, and we've been coming down to that level. We almost got there, but we didn't. So this is on the sub fib. This is your current down sub fib here, and then look at the reversal. So this is why you're getting that call for that long on that report, right? Because we have been, right? It's been long. We trade what we see in the near term today, and it's been long for 251 pips. So we know in the long term, we're saying, hey, we would love to see this push down to that 382 or deeper on that larger fib on a daily. But when we're trading day to day, you trade what you see. So look here, down AB, here's a pullback that's been bullish. We take advantage of those swings. That's that B to C swing reversal that you can play. So if we go down to the 1, right, and then here's Shauna again, is that X, right? So if we go down to the 1 hour and we look, there's that same price action that's been pushing up bullish. And the reason why it's causing it short is because you're pretty much, right, you're pretty much up against that trend line, like we saw on the daily. It's wicking out on us. And on your lower time frames, you actually have a reversal now going on, right? So we've been bullish. Yes.
Can you go to your daily real quick? Let me see.
So look, see that?
Gotcha.
Yep. So there we go, that critical area. We're in the sell zone, right? So we've been bullish on this, but now, man, have we maxed out? And are we going to start pushing down to that 382 finally? We have to just follow the price action and see. So going into next week, if you look at this horizontally, right, here's a level, okay? Here's a level here. Here's a level here. So if I start dropping my supports in, look at that. Clean, right? That's clean. Here's that daily trend line. Now, if I add, okay, this move here, like that, okay, that's because it's catching off of there, so I got to adjust that. Like that. If you're not already in this move or the trend line, just hold it just like that, okay? Keep that trend line there, okay? Because this move is already moving. So I'm not going to put the aggressive line on here like this. because it's already been broken, right? That's already been broken. Okay, I'll leave it there for the visual though. So that's already been broken. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Coming off of that daily. Look, here's the daily. It's telling you. Look at the rejection. That's what you're seeing on the lower time frame. That's the rejection. That's the rejection that we're seeing. That's just that. That's your rejection. So now we're thinking, hey, if we start taking out these levels, right? This is just good price action. Okay. This is just good, solid, fundamental price action, guys. Okay. Look. There. Okay. You could draw that as a zone if you wanted to, right? Start breaking my zones. Start breaking through my zones. However you want to do it, the key is you're in the right area to make things happen. And that's where you want to be. Okay. So now, this push down has created a situation where this stochastic is back in the buy zone. Okay. So now we're looking for the fact of this here. See that? A, B, C, headed to the D, right there in that zone. We'll break that support level. You guys see how this flows? Look at that, right? So now I'm not opening up on Sunday shorting this because I know where I am. I want to see how it comes down to this trend line and the support, right? We're at the crossroads. We're at the support, we're at the trend line, we're in the zone. We're at a D extension, right? A lot sooner than later. See what happens, right? See what happens. Hit the D extension, see if it keeps pushing through. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. The key is once that D extension is hit and once it forms a low, you're going to get a new fib, something like this. Wherever it decides to settle, you're going to get a new fib. Then you wait for your pullback. Or if it's a large enough range, if this continues to, be a huge impulse to the downside, then it may open your fib up huge. And then you got the opportunity for a counter trend trade setup where you're buying to the high price and then ultimately looking to continue to short, right? So just sit on your hands and wait for the market to put you in your ideal scenario. So D extension gets hit. Sometimes we know after that D extension is hit, price continues to run for a bit. That's okay, because the further it runs from this C and wherever that D settles, it'll give me a fib that could be pretty sizable. And if that happens, then I know I got a B to C move that I can play back up to a high price to short to that eventual daily 382 right there. Okay. So that's where we are. It's shorting right now. Wait to see if you can get a pullback, right? If it makes sense in regards to the range that you get, maybe you play the B to C, maybe you don't. Maybe you wait for a new high price and then you continue to short. Okay. All right. Any questions on the pound Swissy? All right. So we will continue. Let's finish out these pound pairs. I know you guys had enough. So let's keep let's keep rolling through. Take a look at the pound yen. So we're at the pound yen. And look, you got a neutral candle, a buy on the daily, but then we're short on our 1 hour, okay, and our 15 minute. So, okay, kind of neutral because of what happened and how we finished out the week with that doji. Well, look, okay, look, you kind of got your head and shoulders type setup there happening, okay? We're pushing up against this downtrend line. Pushing up against this downtrend line. That's a weekly stochastic. Those things take forever. So look, go to our daily, up fib, same thing over and over. Up fib, and you can see the similarities in the pairs, right? You saw the similarities in the Aussies. You saw the similarities in the Euros. Now you're looking at this GBP basket, and you can see the similarities in where they are in relation to price action and position. Okay, so we're back in that same scenario. Here's this 382. That's still, okay, 882 pips away. All right, 882 pips away. So on the daily for the GJ, you had a buy. Yeah, that made sense. That made sense. because it pushed up strong. It pushed up strong. It tried to break that trend line, and look, it didn't close. Look how many times, everybody, it's tried to break that level. Look at how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, still failed. Still failed. And then you pushed off, you closed the week, pushing down that long wick, back below that trend line, which is why your 1 hour and your 15 minute is calling a short. So here's this daily uptrend line here. And then we can come down to the 1. And here it is. Okay. The trend line needs to be adjusted. Right? It's more so something like that. But you can look and see where we are. So if, right, we're in the buy zone, see what happens come Asian session, but it's broken and came right back down in this consolidation. So if I put those daily candles on there, right, if we put our daily on here, see there, look at that. That's just a range. Then it broke out of the range, but it came right back down, right back down in that range. So now, okay, now let's see what we can get from this, right? So be patient. Here's the zone, right? I draw this up as a zone, right? Because I know a lot of people do that. So let's do this as a zone like that, okay? If we can get this to break and break that trend line, then we're headed south, right? Then we're headed south on this pound yen. So let's see what happens. Let's see what the, what the fundamental catalyst may be next week that may trigger that, right? So it tried to break and it didn't. So let's just pay attention and be patient and see what's going to happen if this GJ is going to continue to push down, or is it going to come down and retest the area and push back up, right? We're in no man's land right now. We know we're short right now, but looking at this right now in real time, if you're not in that short position off of that, it's just weird how these move around, these trend lines sometimes. If we're not short, right, off of that position already, let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see what happens. Because if you draw right now, if you zoom in on this, that's a low, that's a higher high. This is a higher low. This is a higher high. Is this going to be a higher low and continue, or is it going to continue to go short? So this is why you can't just jump in trades. You have to be patient. So I'm going to draw that one like that and see if we can continue to come down and push. If we do and we break through these levels, great. If you come through, let me get these supports out here. This is a key level here. So if price pushes down to this level like that, then we're definitely game on the pullback. Definitely game on the pullback. So just be patient and wait on that to see what it wants to do. All right. Any questions on the GJ?
Hey, Benny, this is Rashid. I have a question.
Yeah.
I noticed, we were talking about the commodity pairs and the safe haven pairs, but two pairs we never spoke about was the euro and the pound. Like, what kind of pairs are they?
They're almost, I won't say they're like the dollar in a sense of, because the dollar is the world's reserve currency. The dollar is just on its own. But they benefit, of course, they all have their own resources, but they benefit from a lot of investment too, right? Investment, like, how the people come and invest in our market, the stock market, right? Yeah. So you think about London, right? Inside of London, you have the city of London, which is like the banking district, right? So it's crazy. So a lot of investment in things drive them. A lot of the real estate, just like here in the United States, except for everything just happens to be pegged to the dollar, so the dollar can kind of play both sides of the tracks at times. But that's really what drives them. I really don't consider them to be like major like commodities. They're kind of like, they've got that balanced basket, right?
Okay, so they're sort of in the middle, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit of everything, right? Kind of a diverse portfolio. There's not one dominant thing, right? Because we know, like, for example, the U.S. the U.S. our economy, right? We're the next importer of goods, right? We don't hardly manufacture anything, which I think is a problem long term.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, so we're a debtor nation, right? Because we're net, we net import everything. We're not a net exporter. So one of the things that props us up is what? Investment. That's
Right.
why, right? We try to like when we think, right, how the majority of us came up and the way we think, it's just like, man, like this ain't making no sense. Like the dollar, I'm not getting the most bang for my buck with the dollar, but Wall Street is borrowing that money, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, because you have to understand, they're always going to try to make our environment favorable to the investor. Because if you don't have investment, right, propping us up, then you're in trouble.
Okay.
Your currency is trouble. So US bonds, the stock market, real estate, right? That's what holds economies up, where they're net exporters, net importers of goods. Where in Japan, right? They're exporters.
Right.
Right. So that's why their bank manipulates the currency and keeps the interest rate at a negative. Right? Because if the yen is too high, right? If the yen is too high, and I know I'm a net exporter, that's going to kill my entrepreneurs. Because if I can't come get the most bang for my buck with my US dollar and the exchange rate is crazy, then instead of me being able to buy $1 million worth of good, if it's too high and I only can buy $500,000 worth of good, their exports are going to suffer.
Right. That hurts the economy if the yen is too high long term.
It's too strong. Yeah, that's why they'll step in a minute and crash it. Right? They'll do it in a minute. You know, so yeah, that's a great question, right? So some economies are just like heavily leaning, like New Zealand and dairy, and you know they've got all types of things that they have to fight against because science and technology are starting to take over a lot of that industry, right? So you're creating like milk without the cow, like the scientists are starting to do all types of crazy stuff. So you know, but they're one of their biggest trade partners is China. China's economy is expanding. They got more people going into the middle class than ever before. So New Zealand, when you grow, when your economy starts to grow and your people do better, they spend more money. Right. So they're buying that dairy and those dairy products and all of that stuff. That's why China's got a lot of people strapped right now. You know, so that's a really good question, man. Thanks for asking that.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. So that's where we are on the GJ. Let's go take a look at the pound New Zealand. And we'll look at the pound New Zealand and the pound dollar, and we'll wrap this up for the week. And I hope this has been good for everybody to see how this is done. So here's the pound New Zealand. So we've got strong sells, we got a buy, we got a neutral. So a little bit of everything, right? So we come into the higher time frame, we say, well, what are they talking about? This is what they're talking about right here, right? So you can see, look, range bound, and then it broke it. That New Zealand got strong, right? So look, range bound, and then it broke to the downside, took out this level of support, okay? Now we're here at this level, right here at this level, right there. It looked like it took it out, and then it reversed a little bit, took it out, reversed, and then here's this next level of 191.69. So we'll see. So if we zoom out and you look at how you have your trend lines drawn, okay, let me pull this out. There. So we zoom out, look, you can see where it's at. It's just popping, bouncing around, right? And so we start to zoom in through the time frames to see what we can play off of. Okay, so we know the last couple of weeks prior to this week we're down. And let's go ahead on down to the daily. All right, and look, there's that level right there in our face, right? And those have been with us for a while. We know, like when we looked at this daily time frame, it just got stuck. It wicked off that 382, and then it just got stuck. And then look how it just pushed down to that 61.8 pullback, and then look how it's trying to break. It's trying to break. Our stochastic is in the buy zone, right? And it's trying to make a move. The pound is doing pretty good. The New Zealand is strong, right? Which way is it gonna go, right? So we do the best that we can with it, right? That's why you see this mixed type of sentiment coming off of this, right? So we're short because we have been short. We have been short. We broke this consolidation and came short. Beautiful move to the downside. Now it's like, okay, starting to move. What are we gonna do? Here it is, right? So through all the mess, we still were able to get the U-turn, and the sequence held true to where, look, AB boundary, 382, 61.8 level, right? We got that. Now we're on the other side of this trend line, and it's just a matter of what's going to happen, right? New Zealand strong, pound pretty strong. What are we going to do? We don't know. So TP2, okay, you might be out of the trade. This is kind of a wait and see. I would like to see, like, because look, here we've got, this is in the sell zone now. Okay, we're overbought 99%, over to 80. So what I would like to see is this to push down. See this range in this? I would like to see for this to push back down up against this trend line, and then see how it reacts off that level, retesting that trend line. So right now I'm out. I've been out of this trade on that B2C move. And now I just want to see what's going to happen. Are we going to continue down now, right? Or are we going to push down to this level and then react? So I'm kind of sitting on the sidelines with this one coming off because of what we see on this daily level, and the stochastic is in the buy zone. But I know from a weekly perspective, right, where we are with this consolidation level broke. So once this key level support was broken, we might try to go back up and retest it again, which would put us in a long position. But right now I'm kind of just sitting on my hands, everybody. I really don't know until it shows us something different. So I'm kind of flat on that until see how it ended the week, indecisive. Maybe if I get if we get a push up coming in the next week, new candle open, and we get a push up and a higher close, right? So let me these resistance levels. Yeah, we don't even have any anymore until way up here on this chart. So maybe if I get it, maybe we open up and we close higher than last week, bullish, and we're not so indecisive anymore, then maybe I look to continue long with this play, right? Maybe it pushes back down, then continues long, which will put us up against that backside of that trend line on a 1. But I'm gonna wait and see. I need to see something because we're back in this zone here trying to figure it out. So good play on the B2C, right? I know some people in the group made money off of that this week, but now it's kind of a wait and see. So that's my play on the pound New Zealand. Any questions on that? No? She dropped a fib going to the downside right here off this 1 hour, off that type 2.
No, that was GG. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was on the TJ. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. On the let me see. Where you at? Coming from the downside or way up top? You way up top coming down?
No, right where you started your orange. Go back.
Right here?
there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. You're playing that short, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Yep. So you're looking at your wave already.
Yeah.
Nice job. So you're good. So you caught that move up against that trend line. Saw that. Nice work. Congrats.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Just continue to monitor the trade, if you're still in it. Yeah, good stuff.
You're on mute.
My bad. So we look at the pound dollar, which is bouncing around, right? In between this level. This is the weekly time frame. Okay. And you can see we had a strong push down to this level, to this zone, is 136, and then it reversed. Okay, it reversed, and now look at where we're holding, right? We've taken back all of those gains, right? It's just back and forth, back and forth. So we need to find us a wave to see what's going on. So we come down to the daily, right? And we know where we've been. This trend line needs to be adjust that trend line now. No. Let me see. 138.87. 138.91. So no, we'll keep that because it didn't close. So if we zoom out, just delete that for now. That's a low right there that's going to form when the market opens. That'll be a swing low. Put that back in like this. That'll be a support level. And if we come out, we can see just like the other pound pairs, right? Isn't that amazing how they're in similar positions, right? So this is your main fib. I got a bunch of sub fibs running off of this, but this is real time where we are right here with this, okay? Because it kept bouncing around, ranging. So this is where we are to the downside. So now we're in the sell position here on our stochastic. Here's our 382. Here's our 382. This is that main fib D extension, okay? So what we need to focus on is just like with the GJ and the other pairs, we're right up against this trend line. Look at that, right? So long in the short term, huge bullish candle, but now look, boom, the brakes got put on. It tried to break it, failed to close, failed to close. So what does that look like on our 1 hour? Okay, we come in and look. It's a beautiful double top scenario, right? So let me take these markers from earlier in the week off now. And look at that, everybody. All right. Look at that zone. So you got the break, the pullback, right? Which Ryan called that last week. Okay. And said, look, there's a reversal, a B2C reversal play that shot up for well over 100 pips. As a matter of fact, it took out the A on that fib. Took it out. Took it out. But from the daily time frame, if you pull that fib down, that sub fib down to the daily time frame, it looks like this, right? So the 1 hour signal was beautiful off the 1 hour fib, but in essence, it looks like that from that daily fib, right? So if I go back to the daily, this fib right here, this one, this fib represents this entire leg on a 1, okay? So however you brought it down, the reversal was in play. Now, so what that is, if you got a deep 8-6 and beyond, it almost went all the way back. So you're looking at this here, that double top type of scenario, okay? And then look at it. It just broke down. It just broke down from there. So as we go into next week, right, I'm looking for opportunities on this, okay? Clear this off. Okay, and we had an inner trend line on that, but let's just leave it like that. 1, price breaks the trend line. 2, takes out the A. 3, identify the left tip. 4, 4C, right? 4C, right? Took out the A. 4C. Okay. Okay. Your right tip. Bang. Okay. Just like so. Okay. That's what I would like to see. And you may have an opportunity to play another B2C, wherever that settles in at, right? We don't have a swing low yet. Price is still pushing down, right? So if I take this out, price is still pushing down. We don't have that swing low, but look, we took that level out. Okay. You took that level out. Now at some point, wherever it settles, we're looking for a pullback. If price opens up and it continues to drop on us, that's okay, because eventually it'll form a swing low, and then it can give us another, just like last week, we have the potential for another pullback opportunity, okay? Or if you're just a bear, you just wait for the high price, wait for the high price for price to pull back, and then you look to short, okay? And if this is the beginning of that, then we know that we were thinking long term, all the way down to that 382 on the daily anyway, right? So we know long term where we would like to see price go, but we trade in the near term what we see, okay? And that's the approach. So that's the euros, the Aussies, and the pounds that we went through today. And I hope everybody has had an opportunity to see it, learn a little something, especially our new folks, right? And then this week, we'll be back because we were working on another project, but we'll be back into the Telegram, sending out those new AB boundaries that form on the various time frames. And then for our newbies, we put that markup out there as a trade idea. It is not a signal per se. You have to make sure you're watching your videos, you understand the philosophy and the strategy, and then you know how to get yourself in, get yourself out, and use proper risk management on those setups, okay? So we don't like to say that we're running a signal service because you typically don't learn anything when you're taking just signals. So we put the markups out there for you to compare against your markups and see if it's a viable trade for you. Any questions before we close out today?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
All right, another lower time frame question. So I typically play it like for the day I'm in this basket because this basket looks the best to me. So to do more trades, are you like to work in more baskets? Are you like going off the 15, setting targets, or are you, I'm just trying to figure out what you do.
You're talking about the type of pairs that I trade? So I'll look at like I'll go through probably later in the evening. I'll sit back down and I'll pretty much go back over it because I've got to finish. We're not gonna be able to get to the New Zealand pairs and things like that, and the US dollar pairs, which the UJ is just all over the place anyway. There's some potential there with the UCAD. So typically I'll come out sometimes, I say anywhere between 4 and 8 pairs that I'm looking to trade. And then you have to remember it's a running tally. So there may be some trades that I'm still in from the previous week, right? That I'm looking to see. I'm looking at my trade management on those, right? Am I ready to adjust my stop at that point? We're talking last week now. So some of them said, okay, I'm gonna close out these trades, take those off, right? Take the profit on those. Look at the ones that I got stopped out on. Did I get stopped out? What happened? Go back and review that. And then look to add to some of the trades that are still running. And then I'm looking for, sometimes it could be between 4 and 6, sometimes 6 and 8 setups that'll catch my eye by the time that I'm done. So my process now is just to go through and kind of whittle down, and it could be on any time frame, right? So if I seen something that was setting up on the 5, right, that I really like, that I want to take a shot at, I might be in that type of mood where I want to play that. But I'm usually, like I said, between 4 and 6 and 6 to 8 pairs by the time I'm all done, and it's just like, if these come to this zone, I'm in them. And sometimes maybe I'm even putting a limit on it. Like if I was going through the pairs and we seen a new AB boundary, like for example, on this pound dollar, okay, I'm not gonna know, right? What, we don't have a new low yet. But when we get a new low to form, depending on how much this pushes down, if I'm looking at that trade setup when a new AB boundary forms and I'm like, oh, that 382 is 50 pips away or 40 pips away, I'm going to put that on my target and play that, right? So through all of that, it usually comes down, like I say, between 4 and 6 and 6 to 8 pairs, like right out the gate that I'm looking to do something with. And then it changes throughout the week where I'm either closing out something or I'm looking to add to the setup. So there's always a running order of trades going per se, right? So that's the best that I can answer. So I look at all the pairs and then I kind of whittle it down to what's looking like some A pluses for me. Where's my new AB boundaries? Do I have any trades that are at that 118, 127 after shallow retracements? If we're in a part of the trend where, okay, this B2C move is over, do I have any trades that are in my sweet spot, the 61.8, 786, that I can either look the limit in on or play a 1, 2, 3, and usually it comes down to about that range. So that's kind of the best way I can explain that. It's kind of like looking at everything and then narrowing the focus on those pairs. Yeah. So
That makes sense and that helps. Thanks.
yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Anybody else before we close out? All right. Well,
Hey Benny,
yes.
this is Dwight. When you gonna put this video up?
It's in there, man.
Okay.
Listen, if you go into your topics and you look at the Forex weekly ritual, and then it's the same thing with the lives that we do all during the week. If you guys ever are somewhere where you can't like log on to the Zoom, you can watch this live through the back office. It's there, like every day, like right before I log on and share my screen, everybody, I'm uploading the link into Kajabi. So if you go back, if you were to log in there now in the Forex weekly ritual, under that topics tab, you would see this running streaming live. You just wouldn't be able to like communicate and ask questions because that's just the Zoom link that's transferred over, but it's there now. Like as soon as I close out, the replay is there. And that's with all the sessions that we do.
Okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, because I was at work running back and forth.
Yeah. You doing all right, man? Family good?
Yeah, they're doing good.
Good, man.
Yep.
Good.
Thanks.
Glad to hear your voice, man.
Yep.
So, but anybody else? Katrina said it's good to know she had no idea. Yeah, that's running. Hold on 1 second. Okay, let me do something before we close out. Let me go. So if you go here, right, and you go to your topics tab and you go into the weekly ritual, okay, you'll see it's right here. It's all right there for you guys. See, it's right there. So if you go back to your topics and you go into Inner Circle live sessions, from the very beginning, all of that content is right there. That's all part of the platform and what you guys trade for, pay for. So you got markups, right? Shauna right there, always putting it in on oil. Okay. Just participate and engage. See? So look, all the sessions are there. That content belongs to you guys, right? To go back through and watch it. This one right here, I gotta fix because it was happening with the computer. I had to switch computers, but that one didn't get uploaded. But all of them are there, right? All of our Forex weekly rituals. If you go in here, okay, that's the one that's going on live now. See here? So you guys can go log in. Here's the link for it. But if you just want to push play and just listen in, you can do that. Right? So there they all are from the past. You just hit play and it'll take you right there. Okay? So for you guys that didn't know it, there it is. All right. Using the search feature. Yep. Erica, a lot of people were. A lot of people were. It's all good. So, but it's really, a simple platform when you break it down, resources, all types of stuff, right? So you go back to your topics, ritual, mindset Mondays, all Ryan's videos, trade setups. We were using that, then we switched over because everybody wanted the Telegram, so you don't see that too much. If you got major questions, right, you can go ask there, ask an educator. We'll make sure that we respond. Resource updates. So if you click on resources, you'll see here, like, look, Here is the calculator. So her workbook, Casey's workbook, which is awesome to keep track of all your trades and to work out your math is right there. Here's a video on exactly how to do it and the link to the workbook if you don't have it to download. So everything you need, fundamentals, look, here's links to all the reports. It's all right there for you guys, right? So how to set up MT4, all types of stuff. Fibonacci, right? So if you're using TradingView and you don't have Smart Trader and you want to set your fibs up to where they have the retracement tool and the extension in TradingView, how to set that up, she made a video on how to do that, right? So all of it's there, and then we continue to add the content. So it'll continue to grow. New categories will be added, right? But that's it. That's it. So any other questions? So it's a really good platform. It's coming together. Simple, direct, and to the point, really. Not a lot of bells and whistles. You really don't need that when it comes to trading. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Kajabi app. Yep. Deshaun said that. Somebody had a question. I'm sorry.
You're good. I'm just throwing this one out there for the community. Ryan already hooked me up, but I know the lady was talking about helping her mom's account, and I know I got one for my daughter's account. But can you talk about the programs that where you could do one trade that puts them in different people's accounts?
Oh, I had to get you guys some information on it because there's different. You're talking about the trade copier platforms.
Yes.
Yeah, there's different guys. We need to put some in the resource section and make a video on that. Because there's multiple ones out there that you can use where some are free, some you pay for. But there's I forget the one that I actually use. So there's trade copier softwares out there that you can use. Like I said, some of them are free, some of them are paid, where you can have like a what they call a master account. So say that's your account. And if you have like family members, or say you trade with multiple prop firms. So say you trade like some of us with the Fivers, and you trade for FTMO, right? Two different prop firms. There's no rule against that, okay? You may say, okay, here's my one master account, and then I want accounts off of that, spanning off of that I can trade into. So when I take a trade on my master account, it'll actually launch a trade in those other accounts too. It'll track the stop losses, TPs, everything into those other accounts. You even can, depending on which software you use, you can set it up different parameters. So if you got one account that's $20,000 and another account that's $2,000, but you want to take the same trade, you can set up the lot sizes, right, to adjust the lot sizes for that other account that you have. Okay, so Social Trader Tools. Yep, that's it. That's the one that I use. I use Social Trader Tools. I pay for mine. Yep. So that's Shauna just put it in the I couldn't remember the name of it. She just put it in the chat for you guys to check out. So if you have multiple accounts that you're trading, you can hit the button in one master account and it'll copy those trades into the other ones. Yep. Thanks for bringing that up, man. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Katrina said, "Wow, yeah. You don't have to switch in and out of accounts. You can just copy it." So yeah, we definitely need to do a video or something on that. Casey will probably throw something together for that quick, fast, in a hurry. So yeah, it would save so much time for sure. And like I said, you can set up different risk parameters, lot sizes, and everything with those, depending on the size of the accounts, because the size of accounts varies. They vary. So, all right, well, that's it. It is almost 11 o'clock. It's been an awesome time. Lots of great questions. We got through a lot of pairs, right? If you're new, don't worry about it. You will get it if you stick to it. Like Ryan always says, keep showing up for yourself. And just like everybody else that's been with us for a while, it'll start to click for you. Once you get it, you got it. So with that being said, everybody enjoy the rest of the weekend. Appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. And let's have an awesome, awesome week. Take care, everybody. You're welcome. Just remember, if you need to watch the replay, it's right there in the back office for you under the topic section.